30 seconds. The show will start in 15 seconds, and this is your last audible warning.
Previously on the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Maybe back in the day, maybe Brett Favre. I might have a jerk to break, if I had Brett Favre on the phone talking to me. Yeah, now I'm going to tell you, Bubba, man. During Super Bowl 31, when that 86 Razor opened up for Andre Rison, nobody thought it was going to be there. I didn't even know that Andre Rison knew what an 86 Razor was, but I called 86 Razor.
So when he told you that story, were you getting a little excited?
Well, I was getting excited because I know that I don't think anybody's ever asked him that story.
I don't think so.
And
no one's also promised him a skag.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
Broadcast rights for the Bubba the Love Sponge show have been granted to this station by the Bubba Radio Network and is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this production without the express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is prohibited.
Welcome, Monday, November 18th, 2024. And, man, did I have a rough night last night. Whew. Dr. Dan, I had like GERD with, I ate something a little bit spicy, and then I had to, get up in the middle of the, like within 1 hour of going to bed, then I was trying to do some Tums. I might maybe go get my gallbladder checked or something like that.
You could have a problem. You could have some acid problems.
I feel like lately, any little thing that's spicy at all puts me in this GERD, Tums, kind of heartburn kind of deal. Isn't that usually your gallbladder?
That or just too much. Usually with the gallbladder, you get bloating after a fatty food. So you're having reflux, which is something that happens as you get into your 50s.
Oh, so this is an old guy thing.
Yeah.
More than it's you just yank out my gall. What is the actual function of your gallbladder?
Your gallbladder stores bile, which helps. It's got digestive enzymes, which helps you digest food. It gives you a big shot of digestive enzymes.
But people can live without your gallbladder, can you not?
Yes, because your liver makes the same enzymes. It just doesn't push it out in big boluses.
Oh, hold on. So is your bile kind of
so you trickle, you don't squirt.
So is your gallbladder kind of the blower?
Yeah.
If you're a motor, you can be normally aspirated, or you can be turbocharged or blown, and being blown or turbocharged and forces the fuel down the combustion chamber, quick, more violently, causing more horsepower. So your liver will triculate it in, but your gallbladder will blow it in?
Correct.
All right. So if your gallbladder goes, what determines whether a person, like my sister, I think, had her gallbladder taken out at a fairly young age. Mm-hmm. Does it, is there any rhyme or reason when a person gallbladder goes bad, or is it just,
There's the 4 F's of gallbladder disease.
There's 4 F's?
Yeah.
Okay, what's that?
Fat, female, fertile, and 40.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fortunately, you only get one or two,
Fat.
one of those. 40.
Dr. Remulac, $100.
I'm too. Who's that, Lummy?
Dr. Remulac.
I think that was actually in the overnight. I think the doctor deal was late last night.
4:37 a.m.
Yeah, I was right. As you can see my screen, if Rhett throws it up, Larry Zonka celebrating yesterday. Larry Zonka from the 72 undefeated Dolphins at nearly 80 years old looks pretty damn good.
He does.
I mean, for pretty damn good for almost, what did you say? Let me say 77?
77, yeah.
He was popping bottles yesterday because the Chiefs lost, which will then solidify the 72 Dolphins as still Now, the 72 Dolphins only had to win like 12 games, though, didn't they?
It was 13 or 14.
14, I think, at the time.
But that was...
And they had a shortened playoff.
Hold on. So, 14, though, that was after winning the Super Bowl. In today's world, if you were to go totally undefeated, you'd have to win 17 regular games and then probably, 2 or 3 in the playoffs? If you're the number 1 seed, you play that game, then you play the NFC or AFC championship.
You have to go 20-0.
You have to go 20-0. Yeah.
Yeah, they went 17-0. They went 14-0 in the regular season and then won 3 playoff games.
Who, Miami?
Yeah.
So in order to go undefeated in today's environment, you have to win 3 more games. Which statistically,
I hate to tell these 72 Dolphins, man, but they're fading. I don't know. Nobody talks about the 72 Dolphins as like one of the greatest teams that was ever put together.
Not even my dumb old ass even can remember them.
Well, we don't talk about we don't mention anybody on their team as one of the greatest of all time, Brady, Mahomes, or Peyton Manning, or anything like that. So I know these guys like to hold on to it, and that's their favorite thing to do. But
it's almost over.
It's over, fellas.
I mean, if you
what do you mean it's over, though? What's over about it? He's never going to get beaten.
Nobody cares.
I'm probably the oldest person in this room. Dan, when's your birthday?
June 2nd.
Yeah,
you got him back a couple months.
I got Dan by a couple months. And just off the top of my head, I can probably... Okay, so you got Bob Greasy, you got Larry Zonka, you got Mercury Morris,
Shula.
you got Nick Bonacani, you got Don Shula, and that's about all I can, off the top of my head, remember from the 72 Dolphins. I mean, without Googling or Rhett or any other of my sports guys, off the top of your head, is there anybody else that you can really remember from the 72 Dolphins?
For some reason, I always get Ray Nettles. He was a linebacker for him.
All right, Ray Nettles.
That's it.
So, I mean, I think Mercury Morris is dead.
He is.
Don Shula's dead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Nick Bonacani or Greg Nettles or whoever the hell, I don't know if they're dead, but we obviously know that Larry Zonk is still alive. So, Seth, it really becomes a non-factor when they all die. Then at that point, man, I don't even know that you can refer back to a team that you don't have anybody living on.
So you don't care about like Babe Ruth and all the other guys that died back in sports legends?
Not really.
Really?
I'm just saying. I
got Ohtani and Judge to pull for now. Why do I need a Babe Ruth?
Well, no, I mean, who's walking around just going, man, 72 Dolphins, greatest team? When you talk about greatest teams in any sport, I don't even feel like the Dolphins come up. I feel like you talk about with the Purple People Eaters, the Steel Curtain. You talk about the 85 Bears or the Ravens. I mean, I don't think. Then you go to basketball. You talk about the Warriors or the Bulls. I don't think.
Maybe you go as far back as maybe the Lakers and Boston in the 80s. Maybe, but you start picking it up with the 90s Bulls and the 6 that they won.
With football, it's more about the dynasties that had happened more so than.
Yeah, when you think football and greatest of all times, you think of the 6 Super Bowls that Tom Brady won. Like, you think of the New England Patriots. Like, that's the biggest dynasty, I would say.
You think of the 90s Cowboys, or you think about the 49ers. I mean, there's a lot of teams.
When you go to basketball, you go to the 90s Bulls, and you go to the most recent Golden State Warriors. Right? That's probably where you go to.
Again, I just don't. I could not run in the right circles, but again, I just don't hear a lot of people talking about the 72 Dolphins.
They didn't have those sexy players because they made 3 straight Super Bowls and won back to back after they went undefeated. Yeah, they won. They went to 71 to 72 and 73.
The Bills made like 4 straight Super Bowls, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but they didn't win any. The Dolphins won 2 at least.
And didn't Minnesota back in the 70s make like 3 or 4 Super Bowls?
Yes.
And get beat?
Yes.
By all of them?
Yeah, they got beat every time.
Instead of the most best teams, we should think of the biggest chokers.
Pretty much the Bills.
The Bills.
4 straight.
The Bills have to be the biggest chokers in all of professional athletics.
How is that when the Falcons had the biggest choke job in the history of choke jobs?
No, I'm talking because
that makes up for that choke job makes up for 4 losses.
I don't know, man. I mean, 4 straight losses.
Yeah, that's brutal.
4 straight Super Bowl losses has to be the biggest choking on a D ever. Like nothing beats. I can't even think. I can't even think of any other sport where a team made it to the championship game 4 consecutive years and lost. I can't. Can anybody? I can't think of any. I can't think of any baseball.
Whoever was playing the Celtics that one year when they won all those titles, or that one decade, what, in the 60s?
Yeah, with Bill Russell and all those guys. I mean, I don't know who their opponents were.
I have no idea.
So obviously we'll talk a little football today, but the big couple big things. A lot of you guys didn't watch the John Jones fight. Me and my boys did. I watched that. Did you watch the John Jones deal?
I watched a little bit of it.
Here's the thing about
Fell
UFC.
asleep.
Dear UFC, and Dana White, you're a friend of mine, and you've been on the show a bunch, and I'd love to have you on. You've probably outgrown the show. Or I'm not as big as I used to be, probably a combination of both. But man, people on the East Coast, I looked right at my phone and I yelled out to Sumo and Shane, it's 107. When you start the main event at 107 Eastern time,
It's hard.
it's tough. Now I know you're saying, well, I'm getting all the West Coast people, but I mean, isn't historically like east of the Mississippi more populated? That would be an interesting question. What's more populated, east of the Mississippi or west of the Mississippi?
It's east.
Yeah,
And that encompasses the first 2 time zones.
right. And so you're
Respect 'em.
You're rolling out. And UFC does it every time, where the main event, their big main events, after 1 a.m.
This is everything, isn't it? Any fight. I mean, we were told Jake Paul, Mike Tyson was going to start at 10 o'clock, and did it start at midnight?
Midnight.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, Bubba. There's a scientific, some sort of reason why they go that late, and maybe it's because they've decided that the East Coast will be there no matter what time they run those fights. But since the beginning of time, these have gone deep into the night.
But midnight, man, it still works better than 1.
One is just insulting.
Midnight, I could take like an 11:50 to midnight. We're rolling out. They're walking from the lock, and listen, even walking from the locker room and getting them all, ready and checking their cups and checking their mouthpieces and their all that kind of stuff, and getting them and then introducing them. I didn't think Buffer was ever going to shut up when he was introducing or whoever introduced Mike Tyson. It wasn't Mike Tyson. It was some jobber. But my God, it takes another, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes to get them out to the ring, get them all introduced, ready to go. So, I mean, midnight's one thing. But when you push it to 1, and then now 10 minutes past 1, I was barely staying awake for it. Although, thank God it didn't go the distance, because John Jones, God, he's such a... I don't see anybody in the UFC he's just an absolute beast.
He's had problems of getting kicked out and losing his title, right?
Because doing cocaine and stuff like that. Claims to be a Christian athlete.
How many times has he actually been beaten, though?
Once. I think he got beat once. And it was like a technical... It was like he's never really been beaten.
Well, Tom Aspinall, I think, is the other guy in that division that John Jones doesn't necessarily want to fight, but he could probably beat him.
Man, after watching him on Saturday night, he's just like a monster. My God.
I mean, Stipe, John Jones is 37 or 38, I think, so he's getting up there. Stipe is probably going to retire after that fight if it's not official already.
He did say it on the when Rogan.
Yeah,
talked
okay,
to
so
him,
he's done.
Said,
he's older. This Tom Aspinall guy, I think he could beat John Jones.
No way.
Yeah, I think John Jones is kind of ducking this guy.
And they showed him in the crowd, the Aspinall guy. Mm-hmm. You think I don't know, man. John Jones is just a beast. Whew.
I think he's the closest guy in that weight class.
Yeah, but wasn't John Jones's very first heavyweight fight supposed to be from the guy, this big black guy that had beaten everybody, and this was John Jones's first time of moving up to weight to a heavyweight, and he beat that guy. Guy kicked him in the nuts. The guy kicked him in the nuts right away, and John Jones took like 15, 28, 30 seconds to shake off the nut kick, and then went and then did a rear naked choke on him, like just choked him out like a rag doll. Like, I don't know, man. Like, do anybody who knows anything about sport, are they saying Aspinall? Is that why? Is Jones? Because I saw Jones yesterday said that he would fight one guy, but he wouldn't fight the other. Was the Aspinall guy that he doesn't want to fight?
Yeah.
Whew. What if Dana says, listen, John, we need the Aspinall fight. We need it.
He just needs the money.
Who, Aspinall?
No, John Jones. I don't think he's going to do it unless he gets probably his biggest payday he's had.
Well, I mean, if this is the only human being that's got a chance, then pay him. Then pay him, right?
Yeah, John Jones said he needs a FU money from UFC if he wants him to fight Tom Aspinall.
Well, give him FU money then.
Yeah.
And if he beats Aspinall, then what? Then they're like, maybe they make Jones fight the other guy to get him ready for Aspinall. Now you got 2 bites at the apple, right?
Well, I don't think John. I mean, he wants to keep fighting for sure, but he's probably only got at most
5 fights.
At most 4 or 5, yeah, I would think, if he wants to.
I don't think age matters when you're that dominant. He's just so bad.
Yeah, ask Tyson.
ass.
Yeah, you're right. He could go probably another 4 or 5 years. He just got to stay on the wagon.
Well, I mean, now that you're a heavyweight,
Can't
you
get
don't
another DUI.
You don't
Can't get busted for cocaine in camp again.
Yeah, but he said he's a Christian.
Yeah,
he says I'm a modern day Christian.
Yeah, jail's filled with
very
Christians.
spiritual people.
I'm sorry, I talked right over you.
No, it's fine.
Jail's filled with Christians.
Yeah, jail's filled with people that have found Jesus, haven't they?
Yes.
And Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Here is, by the way, I had it ready to go. Let me see. Damn it. I don't want to play that yet. That'll trigger Seth.
Oh, I thought they were going to win that game too.
Where's all my John Jones stuff?
Seth, now I know how you felt last weekend.
It's 2 more over, Bubba. Keep going. I see John's and
there's no point. There's no point.
Right here?
Yeah, that one and the one next to it.
Yeah. Look, watch this. Wow. And it's only the 7th time Dana White and was it Cormier?
Daniel Cormier.
Who at the end of the day wasn't he recognized as one of the best heavyweights ever? And and didn't John Jones beat the crap out of him? Cormier? You could almost hear the cracking of the ribs. They said it's only the 5th, or I think maybe it was the 7th. It's either the 5th or the 7th time that a UFC fight has been stopped with a reverse heel kick. Now, this is Dan. You didn't see this, did you? Real time.
I saw the highlight, not real time.
Here we go. Oh. Now, Dan, is that like that's not your diaphragm? Well, it's kind of your diaphragm, ain't it?
No, he broke the floating rib. Right there, you can see the heel go right into that rib.
And you can hear it. And then the couple that'll learn you is when you're down there on the ground.
Is it the location of the kick or the force or both?
Both.
Now, Dan, probably anywhere on the rib cage, and this is a go down to your knees, is it not? I mean,
a good strike to the ribs will fracture them. They're not that strong, and a heel going in there at high velocity.
When you're 6'4" with that type of leverage,
right?
Watch this. So now he's spinning and got all of his weight.
What's the move here if you're the other guy? What do you do?
You put
your arm, left arm down.
You put your see if you watch.
Wax off.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
We heard him. He heard him. To the body. That's it. Still. How good is Johnny Bones? How good?
Wow. He's so good.
He's insane.
John Jones and Daniel Cormier fought twice. John Jones won both, but the second fight he won by knockout, and they ultimately ruled it a no contest a little later because he tested positive for the banned substance turinabol.
All right, so he did whip Cormier's ass, but one was John Jones had some Super Rambo stuff in his system that he's not supposed to have to.
The first fight was close; it went down to decision, and then second one he was boosted up.
Now he starts. There's a whole new thing now where everybody's doing the Trump dance. Here we go. John Jones does the Trump dance. Watch. And then later, it probably won't show it, but later on he jumps the fence and gives his belt to Trump. Did anybody see that?
Yeah, he did.
He gave his belt to Trump.
The Trump dance. He did the Trump dance. Trump dance.
Now, let's not forget that John Jones, was this dominant at 205 light heavyweight. He porked up a little bit to 235 to be a heavyweight, but I mean, he could cut back down and kill everybody again in the light heavyweight division as well.
He looked a little chunky.
I think he likes being a little chunky. And, there's no other. And think about this at 235 or however, there's nobody that's even come. Why not stay a little bit heavy and happy, right?
Yeah.
What's worse than having to cut weight?
Nothing.
I mean, Dan, here's the deal. If you're 235 and the heavyweight division can go clear to 265. That's back when Brock Lesnar fought, he had to cut from like 280 to get down. Like the heaviest you can be is 265 and be a heavyweight. So, John, why not be 235, a little fat and sassy if nobody, even at 265, can even come close to you?
I completely agree, Bubba. My senior year in high school, I weighed 152 and wrestled 158, and it was the best. Not losing weight.
But you're
walking around.
Your freshman and sophomore years, you wrestled what?
Like 129, 121.
And you'd roll around at 35.
Right.
And
it was torture.
And you'd have to, cut.
Right. Cutting weight sucked.
He did the Trump dance. He did the Trump dance.
Is this one too right here? I think this is just the same thing.
Yeah.
Kick to the body by
I sent
John.
you the Trump, him giving the belt to Trump.
So you sent me the Trump interaction?
Yes.
All right, hold on here.
Imagine this was like 150 years ago, and it was like Django Unchained, and Trump just like writes the guy a check for this guy.
I mean, it seemed like he was his own personal gladiator.
Did it? I mean, it really seemed like it. It had that feeling. That's what I'm saying. It was like his own like Mandingo.
Whoa.
Here's the belt, sir.
Trump looks uncomfortable.
What are you? They both don't know what to do, Bubba. He's like,
they're
do I
both
put the
way
belt
out.
on?
They're both way out of their comfort zone. You know what I'm saying?
Also, is he allowed to touch him? Is he allowed to hug him? Is he allowed to approach him? I mean, the president, when you're coming off of a fight, it's not really defined what you're allowed to do.
You're greasy.
Right,
Yeah.
they're like the Secret Service is like, should we let him get closer?
Yeah,
That's okay.
it's a tweener.
I mean, but here's the deal. They know he's not armed, at least.
Right. Oh, but he could,
Yeah,
No, but I mean, you can. I mean, I'm sure the Secret Service is nearby, but you can tell friend from foe. You know what I'm saying?
He's absolutely friend.
Right. You can tell friend from foe. So, like, if it was a guy from Russia and he was jumping over there and be like, yeah, adversarial, well, then that's one thing. But, this is very, I don't think you have to be at an alert and height at all just due to the fact that you can tell a person's body language and stuff like that. He was marking out to Trump. This was his offering.
Yeah, this wasn't a Palestinian pounder. This is Jones, American.
This isn't a guy throwing a shoe at George Bush during a press conference. He's like, there you go, Prez.
I don't know anything about UFC, but John Jones seems like the kind of guy that doesn't even care if he fights, but if he does, he'll whip your ass.
Right. He's that dude. He really is.
Is that Elon Musk next to
Trump?
Yeah, you can't get rid of him.
Oh, they can't. He's starting to get annoying.
He had Elon. He had Kid Rock. He had Ramaswamy. And then he had this like
Tulsi
Gabbard, RFK. He's got a hold on. Trump is like a rapper now where he's got a posse. He rolls around with a posse.
RFK was trying to dry hump the ring girl. They had to pull him back.
I didn't blame him.
Can you imagine? And here's the thing. Hey, Secret Service, you know what? I know how you guys are all trained and stuff like that, but if a guy the size of John Jones and as bad as John Jones, let's not say let's not forget he's 6'4", 235. The size is one thing, but he's also one of the baddest human beings on the planet. So like, you'd have to shoot that. If he really had a problem with Donald Trump, there's no regular Secret Service guy that's been trained hand-to-hand combat to be able to peel John Jones off the president, right?
Oh, no, it's going to take a few.
You're going to have to shoot.
They should be recruiting him today, right?
They should be like, hey, John, you know what? Listen, how about you come in and be Donald's personal, bodyguard? And how cool would that if Trump was rolling around with John Jones all suited up as his personal bodyguard?
Trump would be like, no, I'd rather stick with the short, fat blonde chick. She knew exactly how not to save my life.
John Jones doesn't even need a gun. He'll just whip everybody's ass. What's that, Lemmy?
I sent you Trump's walkout with his full crew at the UFC fight.
Okay, John Jones.
Do you think he's getting tired of Musk?
He said he won't leave. He actually said he won't leave. He's like that guest that won't leave. And he doesn't sleep, so you can't outpace him.
I know, and then he's on the ketamine and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the deal, man. He's the world's richest dude. So you don't want to.
I know, but he's also one of the world's most awkward dudes who is probably it's the cool guy club with Trump and Tulsi and RFK and Dana, and he's just trying to get in there.
Here's Trump's posse.
Look who is now.
He's got Dana.
It's like Morgan Wallen.
He's got himself. He's got Kid Rock. He's got Tulsi Gabbard. He's got RFK.
Making his way to the
He's got Elon Musk.
world famous octagon.
Do you think they call each other's hotel rooms and say, hey, let's meet in the lobby at 7:15?
I don't know, man.
CEO Dana White, 45, soon to be 47.
Trump saying, hey, Dana, don't job me out, man. I want front row right by Rogan. And did you see, man, how much Trump really marked out to Rogan?
Yeah.
He really marked out to Rogan, as he should, because I think the Rogan interview, just his interview, and then the Kamala saying no,
that was the last straw. That was the final straw.
There was actually women in exit polls from Texas that said, the determining factor as to why I voted for Trump is it seems like he was willing to go on the Joe Rogan show and be transparent, and Kamala had all these demands and never did the Joe Rogan show. So, I mean, I'm sure if that's one woman that they interviewed in an exit poll, there were other women that felt that way. And so that obviously that data has gotten back to Trump. And so he's, really, really appreciative. So when when you can see as he walks up and says hi to everybody, he really, really makes a beeline for Rogan and really puts Rogan over.
To the world famous octagon, flanked by UFC.
Hey, Dana, make sure you don't job me out. Make sure I'm front row.
CEO Dana.
Oh, I got you, buddy.
White, 45, soon to be 47, President-elect Donald Trump.
Wish the people at home could hear.
Here's what I understand.
This is a posse, man. This is crazy.
Here's what I can't understand is that everywhere he goes, now this is at Madison Square Garden, arguably one of the most famous arenas we have in America, with regards to all the
absolutely
all the boxing events,
yes,
just events that we've had at Madison Square Garden. It's solidly in. Is it Manhattan? Is it in Manhattan?
Yes.
Of the 5 boroughs, is it Manhattan?
It's in Manhattan, yes.
Okay, so it's in the absolute solid middle part of New York, and it fits about, for boxing and in the round type events, probably upwards to 20,000 people. And how does the guy lose the state by 15 points when he gets this type of response? I mean, you know what I'm saying? How did he lose New Jersey when the last 2 governors in New Jersey have been Republican?
How did he lose a state full of millions of people because 20,000 were cheering for him?
I don't know.
Oh, Bubba,
those 20,000 have family members. Those 20,000 have relatives.
They didn't all vote for him, though.
I know, but I mean, usually your family kind of all votes the same.
Yeah, Bubba, those are also the states that don't have voter ID requirements, so who knows how many people really voted for them.
In this room, it is so loud in here. It is so loud.
I mean, so Kamala Harris soundly won New York State. Soundly. Had she walked in there after having just won the presidency, I don't think it would have been this exciting.
It's always loud when he comes here, but now that he's won, now that he's the president,
she was flanked by, Beyonce and Rihanna would be.
And J-Lo.
And Mark Cuban.
So Donald Trump.
They're playing some Kid Rock.
Making his way to watch the UFC, which he absolutely loves, and doing so with some sort of victory lap after regaining the presidency earlier this month.
This is probably... Look at this big Dolph Lundgren looking mother effer. This dude right here.
Perfect. Is he perfect?
And if you look at, man, all Secret Service people are identified by the button that they have right here. And so I know a guy who just most recently retired from the Secret Service, and based on what type of button you have is what detail you have within the Secret Service.
Oh, like the colors?
Yes.
So like the guys behind him look like they have a different color. That's blue. They have purple.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So the button, so that quickly identify for other Secret Service people.
Rank and stuff.
It identifies where you're supposed to be and how close to the president you should be. So this is probably, this little blue button here probably is the most, closest button. Like, it looks like these guys all might have the same, look, see them?
Yeah,
boom,
that's blue.
Boom, boom, boom. Whereas a Secret Service guy that might be over here somewhere may have, a different color, a green button. And so, that's my buddy who, is from the Secret Service, told me that. And if you look at it and make it that way they can quickly identify, In
emphatic fashion.
If you got some weirdo that's got a suit on that's trying to, walk next to Trump and he didn't have a button, they know they can take that guy out.
Who is that guy? Is that Lee Corso and then Jelly Roll? I mean, who's this line that he's shaking here?
Jelly Roll.
Blowout of the Democratic
Jelly Roll didn't even get
candidate, Kamala Harris.
Now watch you make a beeline for Rogan.
Congratulations.
All right, buddy. Good seeing you. Thanks. Oh, there's my guy. There's my guy. Hey, listen, let me just tell you something, man. That interview you did for me was awesome, and that bitch, saying she wouldn't be on your show was awesome. And let me just tell you something, Joe. You're my man. Listen. I mean, that's a little bit of a conversation. I mean, that's the most that he has talked to anybody in his receiving line, is it not?
Yes.
Congratulations, Mr.
Is that Cormier?
Yeah. Goes ahead and reiterates another handshake to Joe Rogan. Look at it. And now he's telling Rogan again. I'm just telling you, that interview you did. I'm just telling you, man. It really, really put me over, brother. I got you. I mean, people are going nuts over him. Kid Rock.
What a moment here inside Madison Square Garden as the president-elect Donald Trump feels the
Robert F. Kennedy behind him.
love.
I think this girl here is that famous
Sage Steele.
Yeah. Sage Steele, is that her name, Seth?
Yes.
Say what you will about Kid Rock, but dapping up the president while your song is playing in a packed out UFC arena is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty over. I mean, Eminem's mad as hell right now.
Donald Trump feels the love.
Hey, Eminem, you picked the wrong guy, man.
Eminem just got nominated for like 5 Grammys.
I know.
Yeah, Eminem will be all right.
What's that?
Eminem will be all right.
He will be, but he's him and Kid Rock are friends.
New Yorkers and all the fight fans around.
Kid Rock probably call him and be like, "Hey, Marshall, I know I don't have 5 Grammy nominations, man, but I'm dapping up the president. They're playing my song at Madison Square Garden. I'm riding on his jet."
I tell you what, Kid Rock and Eminem will both be together when the Lions are in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, you're right.
Around the world who have made their way to UFC 309.
Now it looks like to me that this guy right here. Now see here, Johnny Secret Service, Blue Button Willie, right?
Right.
Now it looks like this guy here might not supposed to be where he's supposed to be.
No.
Like watch him.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh, damn it.
who is
Hold on here. Damn it.
Donald Trump, UFC
Yeah,
309.
Yeah, he's like,
It looks like this
get
guy.
out of here, kid.
Yeah, like Johnny. I got the highest ranking button.
You're getting too close to the speaker.
You are. You're getting too close to to Maverick or whatever his nickname is. They all got nicknames. Like he's not letting that guy.
He's got hands on him still.
Yeah, that guy probably legitimately has a seat like there in that front row there, right?
Probably.
But he doesn't,
Robert Kennedy alongside.
Yeah, it's okay, buddy. He's okay. You can sit down here in a minute. We got to get the Maverick sat down.
Taking a position in Donald Trump's cabinet. Nobody's sitting.
Now, so hold on. So here's
He's so isolated.
Here's that same dude.
Yeah.
Here's that same dude, and they're not letting him get close. And I guarantee you, they've already kind of kayfabe patted him down a little bit.
Yeah,
You know
what kind of guy wears a brown jacket with jeans? I mean,
Right.
geez.
Inside Madison Square Garden.
Sketchy.
So I mean, yeah, that's that guy obviously wasn't supposed to get close. So anyway, we all know the results of all that. We just played it a few minutes ago. John Jones wins. Was it in the second or the third? I think it was the third. When we get back, we'll talk about the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson debacle. It was just actually Antonio Brown was at the event, and Antonio Brown streamed the Jumbotron on his personal account, on his X account.
So is he in trouble?
No, well, he got 6.5 million people to watch his, the fight from his perspective of the Jumbotron. And Jake Paul actually commented on it and said, at least it wasn't buffering.
Right. You probably had the first shot at it because, when it buffered and you had to reset it, it would set you back a few seconds every time. By the time the fight came on, I was still watching the other fight. I had to fast forward through it.
Yeah, everybody had problems. And so they said, how many was it? Was it 60?
60 million.
60 million watched it. And so for their NFL, for their Christmas Day doubleheader, NFL doubleheader. I mean, I got to think that they'll probably have those types of numbers, right?
Yeah.
They're thinking.
I mean,
That's what they were thinking. They're worried about it now.
Anyway, I mean, do you think that they're going to have to issue refunds? Do you think that, what do you think the crap storm that Netflix is facing business-wise?
Well, here's what they're not going to do. They're not going to fire the executive that made the admission.
What do you mean?
This guy's not getting fired, or anyone else that made the admission about them making a mistake. No one's going to get fired. They're just going to try to work on it, and
they need to call AOS.
Everyone else has to suck it.
They did call. They did call Amazon Web Services (AWS), which I think is where the majority of the big streaming farms are. I mean, I think
it's a little badge of honor, too, that they had something that's so in demand that it crashed.
Right.
It's definitely not a great look either. This isn't the first time they've had, live stream problems. There was one of the first live things they tried to do was a season finale of that show. I think it was Love is Blind. And they announced the time. People loaded up on the app, sat around waiting for it, and it never happened. They had to tape it and release it later.
They didn't have any problems with the Brady roast.
No, they didn't.
No.
But how many people watched it live? Probably not 60 million.
No, probably not. We'll get into all that, the Netflix problems, next.
If you want a deep dive into the Bubba the Love Sponge show from the past, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com. We'll be back after these words.
Bubba, I got acid the last couple nights, too. I don't know where it was.
You had acid gimmick?
Yeah, I have it right now. I took Tums last night and this morning.
Which is better, Pepto or Tums?
I like Tums. I like the oval, round, chewy ones. The hard shell.
The thing about Pepto, it feels like it coats your stomach better, whereas Tums kind of mixes in with your shit.
Yes, but Pepto's gross. You gotta plug your nose and take a tablespoon.
No, I can fucking read Pepto straight. The only bad thing about Pepto is it makes your poop concrete.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Prilosec takes too long to work. Listening, fat Shaheem. Some Cooper Lips, Attack of the Dog, Glowbug, Fan Orlando. Manson was the mole.
Damn right, JTV. Nice meeting you, man.
She sure will. Birdo. TNT 1560.
Now, Dan, do they got anything that you can take, like if you're going to eat something spicy, like you take it pre?
Yeah, if you take Pepcid or Prilosec, an hour before, that helps probably. What's up, Organic Gene and Retarded, Big Bug? Snizzle, Lazaire.
Holy fuck, November 18th. Jesus, man.
Questions, Snooks Lair. So Paul Christopher Diaz.
What up, Paul? Good seeing you, buddy. What up, Todd?
Fuck. Kenny Powers. Fuck. What's up, Tyler Trudeau? So what up, Spice?
What up, Primetime Toys? Nice meeting you, man.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you, Primetime, too, as always.
Next up in the storage shed. So I can't go backwards. Trying to sign in. Let me sign in. This thing fucking sucks. I'm sorry. YouTubers. I can't get this fucking.
What up, Tyo? What up, Grouper Lips?
Yes, looks like I don't know what's going on with that. That's a good question.
Watch, my computer's fucked up again. I didn't reset it. I'm ready to see Bubba take a fall during the yoga thing too.
Yoga. You guys gonna start doing yoga?
Yeah.
Toys.
Yeah. I'll just reset it if you can.
I can't go backwards to school. Chatting, sorry about that. What's up, Glenn Liker?
Oh, okay. Here it is. Hard reset. Thank you.
Well, Christopher Diaz.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabito studios. Aquabito.com/Bubba. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
I hope this doesn't upset everybody, but Friday will be a best of show. Lummy, I think you're working on that?
Yes, sir. We're good to go.
Can you get that when you get them delivered to the affiliates? Will you let me know?
Yes, sir.
The reason why I'm taking Friday off is because my Warsaw Tigers, where I went to high school, for the first time in the school's history, have advanced to the semi-state in football, which means right now there's only 4 teams left.
Wow.
In their division, 5A. And so there's 4 teams left. Now,
what's their record?
Warsaw record's 9-3.
Woo! Go Panthers!
And it's Tigers.
Tigers!
And so listen to this, Dan. They beat on Friday night. They beat Lafayette Jeff, which was 11-0.
Wow.
So their first game was the sectional, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they won that game against the way the Indiana high school football tournament goes is you have the sectional first round, then the sectional championship, then the regional championship, then the semi-state championship, and then the state. So
it's a lot of games.
Warsaw was in 5A rated 8th. Okay. So in the first round, they played this real horrible team named Goshen. They killed them like 53-3. So then they take on in the sectional championship, they take on the number 1 rated team in 5A Concord, and they're 10-0. Warsaw beats them and wins sectional. Then in regional, they take on what happened this past Friday. The rankings they re-rank the teams, and they re-rank Warsaw at like 5th from like 8th because they just knocked off, because they knocked off the number 1 team. So now they play last Friday they played the number 1 team in Lafayette Jeff, who was 11-0, and they beat them.
Wow.
So now
Dream Crushers.
So now Warsaw's like 4th. And there's only 4 teams left, and the team that they play this Friday night for semi-state is Maryville, and they're the new number 1 team. So Warsaw is playing Maryville in Warsaw Friday night at 7:00, and I'm going to go to the game.
That's exciting. Can I ask a dumb question?
Yeah.
The 3 losses, were they close?
Yes, one was overtime, and they just blew it. And the other one, the first loss of the season is they played the number 3 rated 6A team that's won the state like 14 times. That's won the state tournament 14 times. And Warsaw's new coach he's been there 8 years now, but he likes to play like the toughest team in the state as the second game of the year. He doesn't care about being undefeated. He just cares about where his team ranks. Within, and they did pretty good. They're called. I think they're called Warren Central.
Are they still in the playoffs too?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look. And then their third loss was a team called Plymouth, who Warsaw just blew it. Last year they beat Plymouth 77-10, and Plymouth this year has a new coach and got them all hyped up. Warsaw was flat. I think their quarterback was out. So anyway, they're on a 6 or 7 game winning streak.
Warren Central is not in the playoffs anymore.
They're out.
Yep.
So Warsaw, there's only 4 5A teams left. Warsaw plays Maryville 7:00 in Warsaw. I'm leaving the show Thursday and headed right to the airport, flying into Indy, driving to Warsaw, staying with Larry Plummer. Larry, I don't have to worry about hotness issues, Lummy, even if Larry turns the furnace on, because I think the low is going to get down to 32. So I'll literally just open up my window.
Will you stream the game for us that can't be there?
No.
Kind of like AB, Antonio Brown?
Probably be illegal. What you think?
Yeah, you're right. The FBI could get you for the getting the Warsaw game.
Next thing
Sumo won't go?
No, Sumo, that's 3.5 hours away from Sumo. Sumo isn't sitting on a bunch of cold-ass bleachers to watch a team that he knows nothing about.
Okay.
So otherwise, when all my other Indiana trips is I go to Warsaw first and then I end it at Sumo's house. But because I'm in and out, I won't get a chance to see Sumo. Now, if Warsaw makes the state championship, like if they win Friday,
you taking the whole week off?
Well, no, but they play the Saturday after Thanksgiving in Indianapolis. And at that point, I might stay with Sumo because Sumo literally just dropped me off at the stadium. So, might do that. Or I'll just get a hotel close to the stadium. I don't know. But they play the Saturday after Thanksgiving. If they win Friday night, they play the Saturday after Thanksgiving where the Colts play.
Well, let's get one game at a time, Bubba.
That's right, one game at a time.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves here.
And here's the other thing.
We can't overlook this team that are playing this East High.
No, we can't. No, Maryville.
Yeah,
we can't overlook them. They're the number 1 rated team. And hold on, their coach is a former Warsaw High School quarterback standout.
Oh my God,
Whoa.
dude!
Yeah. So Brad
storylines are running wild.
Brad's like Varsity Blues, like Brad Cease. their coach of Maryville is a former Warsaw High School quarterback standout. Like he was a stud, and that's their coach.
Whoa.
So
if you win, you going to get married on the bridge?
No. Jesus, why you...
Are you going to go, are you going to go on the field, Bubba, if they win? I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody does.
Pull down the goalposts?
No, they'll shoot you at Warsaw for that.
That's awesome.
I mean, Warsaw cops, they don't ever get a chance to pull their guns out for nothing, so they want to shoot you. Like, you got to understand, Warsaw, poor guys. I mean, they may get 2 or 3 pepper spray incidents a year just for some drunk people downtown, but, they don't get a lot of action in Warsaw. It's such a quaint little town.
You going to go speak to the kids at the local jail like you did last time?
No, I'm not doing any of that.
Okay.
I'm rolling in Thursday night. Probably, me and Larry going to see his mom on Thursday. And then Friday's the game.
You dragging Merch Crick?
Yeah.
Okay.
She wants to go.
Oh, yeah.
I'd go,
she's a big time.
Yeah, she wants to go.
Yeah, she bleeds Warsaw green.
He's like Steven.
No. You better better back that all off real fast. Because I'm not like Steven at all. No, you better just. Okay. And I hope that you. I'll take it back. I hope you reminded your wife.
She mentioned it 3 times. Thank you, Bubba. And I wanted to say that this morning. She said, "Thank you, Bubba."
But
specifically.
Tell me how you positioned it.
That Bubba said that we had too much going on, and I'd be better off staying with you. And he said, "Don't worry about it. He's got it." And he wanted to make sure that you knew that he thought that this was more important than the content house.
Right.
And so she even said it last night at the end of the weekend. I'm glad you were here, and I'm glad you didn't go. Thank you. And I'm glad Bubba said it was cool.
See, maybe her and I are making little baby steps to being
yes,
friends again.
You are.
So Dan calls me. We're actually headed over to the content house on Friday. Little did I know that it was going to take me 2 hours and 27 minutes to travel 54 miles. The Davenport Content House from the studio was actually 56 miles. And I had Rhett and Gary Cantrell and Merch Crick with me. And we start going. And at first, it's got us getting us there at in an hour and 15 or 18 minutes. And then we get on I-4, get past Lakeland a little bit of traffic. And then all of a sudden, there's this whole, this big, unbelievable, I really never. What was the event? Because I think maybe Seth and Brian maybe stayed on I-4. Me and Lummy took back roads.
It took us almost 4 hours, just so you know.
So what was the was the event on I-4, Lummy?
Traffic construction. That's it.
So it wasn't Iraq. Wasn't some catastrophic thing that they had to bring in Bayflight?
No, there was maybe I think there was 1 or 2 fender benders, but they said they moved them off the road. But
so all of our Waze and Google, all of our navigational apps are telling us to get off at Winter? I forget.
It was 574
Winter Haven or something like that.
Lake Placid or something,
and start.
Do you report when cops on Waze? I don't use it at all. But do you ever report that cops are there? Because I saw Brian doing it, and he loves reporting when cops are around. He likes to let everybody know what's going on.
Yeah, Brian is absolutely a technological whiz. I was trying to find airfare to Warsaw, and Southwest was just it was astronomical. And Brian,
everyone's trying to flat for that game?
No, it's just Southwest. Direct,
it's like the Super Bowl.
Tampa to Indy is just so popular, especially the nonstop.
Did you try the one from St. Pete?
I did. Brian got me the app, and that's where we're flying out of St. Pete. I'm not.
Yeah, I've done that flight before.
I'm not giving my airline or anything.
Why, you don't want fanfare at the airport, Bubba?
No, I don't want nothing.
There could be people that want to see you off to Warsaw.
No, stop, please.
Yeah, when we did the combine, we'd fly out of St. Pete a lot of times. It's a better flight.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, I'm headed to Warsaw on Thursday after the show, getting back early Sunday morning. Usually I like to get back on Saturday, but their flight Saturday was just too early. It was 7:50 in the morning. So that means after the game Friday, the game is going to get done about 10:15 on Friday. I'd literally get 3 or 4 hours of sleep and have to head, because Warsaw to Indy is about 2.5 hours.
Oh, my God.
So then if you're going to get there an hour early and get your rental car turned all in and things like that, it makes for a very early morning. So I took Sunday instead, which gives me Saturday to go screw around a little bit, see some friends, things like that.
32 degrees, huh?
I think the low Friday night's 32, as I'll be sitting in some cold bleachers at Fisher Field in Warsaw, Indiana, to see Warsaw potentially advance to the state tournament, which let me at that time, I won't have to take any time off because we're already off.
That's right.
So, but I will be flying up again and they play all state tournaments. All state game finals are at where the Colts play, Lucas Oil Stadium.
Nice.
So you don't even have to worry about a ticket there's not going to be 68,000 people wanting to watch Warsaw versus, Decatur Central. So the tickets are $15 and you can watch. I think they start playing at 11 o'clock. I think on Saturday the games are 11, 3, and 7. But you buy a $15 ticket, and if you wanted to go for the 3 o'clock game, you could go watch it. But, if your team loses, if you're a 3 o'clock team and it loses, you're not going to probably stay and watch the Warsaw Decatur Central, So then at that point, you can get a better seat. You can, because all seats are general admission. So, you just kind of keep warming your way down. I'll probably get there. I don't know what time I'd get there. I got to think that you could get a pretty good seat no matter what time you get there for a 7 o'clock. I just don't like sitting around all day. So, if the Warsaw Tigers played at 7, I'd probably try to get there by 6. Even if the entire town. Listen, the entire town is only 15,000.
Oh, so there's no way that stadium could get filled. Right.
I mean, if every person from Warsaw, Indiana went, it'd be 16,000. This is only a 25% of the town's going to go.
So during the game itself, though, when it's in Warsaw, like this weekend, will it be packed?
Yeah, but
at the game?
But their capacity, is only 6, maybe 7,000 people, and that's including if Warsaw people had to go on the other side of the visitor side. So yeah, it's going to be packed. But Larry said he can get us. Now, see, getting a ticket for Friday night's kind of tough. Yeah, so Larry said he's got a handle, because he's big time. Larry's big time in Warsaw.
Oh, so you already got your ticket locked up?
Well, Larry said he did, so I'm not worried about it.
I'm sure they'll let you in anyhow. You're a celebrity.
Does the Parks Department take care of the grounds at the high school?
No, they don't. They have their own ground crew.
Okay.
But during their summer conditioning program, the Warsaw High School team uses the parks they pick up picnic tables over their head and have to run through the sand, and then they do all these drills in the sand, and then they have the Kelly Park. Warsaw has this place called Kelly Park that's got this real big sledding hill. Well, they have to run up and down that. So they use Larry's, they used 3 or 4 of Larry's parks during conditioning. So Coach Curtis and Larry are
buddies.
Oh yeah, they're buddies. So Larry, well, I when I texted Larry, I'm like, hey, we need tickets. He's like, I don't need a ticket. I go, well, how about me? And he goes, nah, you walk in with me. So for the
he's a player.
For the people like us at the Content House, which we'll get into the Content House here momentarily, Lummy.
Nice.
But that watched or attempted to watch the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. It looked like, and I think Jake Paul actually tweeted, more people watched an illegal stream of my fight with Mike Tyson than what the NBA playoffs averaged in 2024. Antonio Brown was there at the event, and he basically just had his phone and was just broadcasting the Jumbotron at AT&T Stadium. And at one time had 6.5 million people watching his stream. And the reason why people were doing that was because everybody was locking up. Everybody was buffering. Regardless, we were trying to watch it a couple different ways at the Content House. One through a regular Netflix account. Other one through our gimmick, Lummy. And then the other one, we end up, the best scenario we had was when Brian was watching it through his phone, and we were mirror casting it up to the TV. I think that's ended up being the most efficient one, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
So, Dan, were you getting buffering?
It's so annoying. But I've had Spectrum out to my neighborhood 50 times in the last 3 weeks.
But here's the deal.
I've lost cable off and on for a month.
But
I thought it was that.
But here's the thing: it wasn't your connection.
No, it wasn't.
Because Mach said, Mach, you, Rhett, whoever, didn't you say we had 1K? We had 1K capabilities, and when you hit test, it was showing 1K.
Yeah, we were good.
We were good. It was Netflix. And actually, Netflix was throwing up messages to Netflix, users saying, we have outages reported. We're trying our best to rectify this. And so the headlines of this particular story, Netflix executive makes admission after the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson streaming debacle. Netflix has heard all the complaints, and they're vowing to improve. The streaming company announced Saturday that 60 million people tuned in to its heavily anticipated Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. But scores of fans complained throughout the broadcast that their stream froze or crashed, which happened to us. The unprecedented scale created many technical challenges, which the launch team tackled brilliantly by prioritizing stability of the stream for the major viewers. CEO Elizabeth Stone wrote, according to Bloomberg. I'm sure many of you have seen the chatter in the press and the social media about the quality issues. We don't want to dismiss the poor experience of some members, and we know we have room for improvement, but still consider it a huge success. Netflix's streaming issues are notable since the company is set to air the NFL doubleheader of the Christmas games, which are Chiefs, Steelers, Raven, Texans, which are both great. That Chiefs Steelers game is going to be great.
Yeah, it is.
And I got to think that by 60 million, I got to think that those could pull that kind of numbers.
The thing is, though, Bubba, a little buffering during a football game isn't as annoying because it's like they have that like built-in dump clock because there's 30 seconds between plays, and they can suck up a couple seconds. In boxing, every second is critical. It was catastrophic. It was impossible to watch. It was so annoying.
Well, and by the way, Netflix is scheduled to be the new home of WWE Raw in 2025.
That wasn't WWE Raw Friday night?
What do you mean?
Fake.
Yeah.
Scripted, embarrassing, disgusting, pathetic, an insult to people that were fans of boxing, an insult to Tyson.
I'll tell you this, I'll never, ever...
Tyson got 20 mil. I don't think he's too insulted.
That's an insult.
I'll never buy or care about another Logan, another Jake Paul fight. I'll never take another of his fights seriously ever again.
Yeah, it was about as exciting as watching, Hulk Hogan fight The Rock.
Well, I mean,
he announced his next fight already.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan.
Oh, my God.
That might be more real than what we saw on Friday night. It was horrible. It looked like, now, here's the thing. Tyson actually came out in the first round and looked decent. In fact, a lot of people scored maybe that might have been his only round that he won, but he looked decent. He had his gloves in close. He had some good head movement. He connected on a few, and again, a lot of scorecards gave the first round to Tyson. But then after that, it's like Tyson's corner or his instructions or the rigged, scripted deal was just don't throw any punches. Just get hit. Just let him.
Which is bizarre. He just stood there and did nothing for 8 rounds.
Right.
It was weird, dude. The whole thing was embarrassing. It was the production was embarrassing. The performances were embarrassing. The streaming was embarrassing. And I lost all of my respect for Mike Tyson. I lost all of my interest in Jake Paul. And I think boxing, if it wasn't for the fact that the first 2 fights were such competitive fights, but they also highlighted why boxing is dead.
Hold on.
Because people are getting robbed.
Hold on. That woman fight before the Jake Paul Tyson deal was one of the best fights I've seen in a long time, men or women. Mm-hmm. And that girl, what's her name? The Siriano?
Amanda Serrano.
Robbed.
She got robbed. Absolutely robbed. And that cheating Irish bitch knew exactly I mean, listen, I don't know how many times the ref took a point away for headbutting.
Well, on a non-headbutt.
But the entire time after she headbutted the girl and got it open, then and you know, it's smart until you get deducted a point for it. Then after that, it's cheating. It's cheating after that. And that is when you open up a person's, you know, brow with a headbutt, and then you continue to, as you're boxing, always put your head and cheese grate it against that headbutt, opening it up with your braid, your hair, because her hair is in braids, which makes your hair even more of a weapon. Like just your natural flippy flop hair, you know, isn't that stiff. But when your hair is tightly braided like a rope, then you're now,
it's a weapon.
As you're coming in, and you're always leaning that little rope on that gash, and you know, giving it a cheese grater to the point where the referee took a point away. Now, up until the referee taking a point away, it's strategically smart boxing, but it's cheating. And
yeah, it's dirty, and you know, she's known for cutting her opponents. In fact, Serrano's first cut was against the same Irish girl. And I thought it was disgusting. It exemplifies why boxing is dead. Because you even have a great competitive girls match, something kind of new and exciting.
Which was a great match.
And it was shady refereeing, and it was shady judging. She threw over 100 more punches. The other girl got a point deducted, and she still lost.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Hold on. She landed 100 more, I think threw 200 more. Something to that matter. And lost by a point.
The other one, the Ramos-Barrios fight, was also a great fight. Did you see the two Mexican guys before that fight?
A crew of murderous pirates.
No.
Yeah.
It was very competitive.
That might have been on the last
They
quarter.
beat the hell out of each other.
Warsaw was still on.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, it was also a great fight.
Got a lot of heat for that.
Yeah, we were watching Tigers.
You can take the controls.
Okay.
All right. I'm trying to play. This is supposedly the Jake Paul after party footage. It's, of course, given us a Disney pre-roll.
Which is about the same.
You know, Jesus, my
Star
Lord.
Wars, jeez.
Star Wars got a new Star Wars?
Yeah.
Is that one of P. Diddy's freak-offs?
You saw celebrities there.
And here's the deal, man. All they keep doing with this P. Diddy deal is just whetting our appetite.
This was Jake Paul's after party?
Yeah, P. Diddy freak off. When are we going to get some? Now, didn't the district attorney or the state of New York, Middle District of New York, didn't they come out? I think last week with a big news conference, but I don't think they really said anything
that you recognized.
It was a rapper that we all know.
This is like the Epstein
Straight up porn directed by Diddy.
Oh no! They didn't drag out the Epstein stuff like this. They threw the charges against him and yoked him.
I'm just grateful to have made it out.
I mean, we've not really got an official charging indictment, have we not?
I don't think so.
What's he got, like a purse?
What?
It's a tactical bag from Gucci.
It really is.
Is he smoking?
Yeah.
Weed, you know. Oh my God, no way.
At the after.
By the way, Jake Paul's girlfriend is stunning. I have to compliment him on that.
The Hawk 2 bitch.
Oh, she's trash. But I'm talking about Jake Paul's girlfriend, who I think was like a speed skater from Sweden.
Yeah.
She's a dime.
Oh, so society now has made the Hawk 2 bitch, you know, somebody that has to be tracked for the after party.
She looks like someone Hawk 2 in her face.
At the after party.
I'm not dressed for the occasion.
So Jake Paul arrives to the Mike Tyson after party. Is this where Tyson is? Are they sitting in a corner in a cold bath?
I was like, you so
They're playing beer pong. I've seen enough. Thanks.
Oh my God.
Did anybody think Mike Tyson had his nipples were a little too long? I think Lummy brought it up, and then I really
long nipples.
Yeah, I thought it might have been holding him back in the fight. The more I studied it,
they were a little too sensitive.
I mean, well, they were just. I mean, they were
erect.
They looked
he had
sagging.
He had some nips.
I mean, they probably had an inch and a half to him, Dan.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe with the streaming, I just couldn't see it.
I know. Well, we saw. Our streaming got us extra close.
Maybe I'm gonna go into some words.
See his nipples.
I'm not bringing some words. See if you can find me an ISO on Mike Tyson's nipples, if you could. All right.
Oh my God.
You're listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
If you want 24/7 on-demand Bubba and the crew, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be back after this.
Didn't some kid try to interview Tyson and ask him about legacy? It was really obnoxious to him.
Yeah, we played that on Friday.
That's when you knew the fight was fixed. Someone said that was a Liz Hurley bag. Good morning, quicker ticker.
Homie, did you find the nips?
There's not really any good pictures of it. A lot of people are talking about how long his nipples are, but no one has a real good picture of it.
Can you send me links to both of the seafood sponsors?
Broadcasting live from the Aquabeto studios.
Aquabeto.com/Bubba.
It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
A bunch of people to thank for the content house. Everybody did such a great job and busted ass. I'll get into that momentarily. Here's a meme, and it's obviously a reenactment of when the anticipation of Christmas Day, of when Netflix has the doubleheader NFL game streamed live on Netflix. The only place you'll be able to find the Christmas games, which is the Steelers. Was it the Steelers? Chiefs.
Ravens,
Texans, which are scheduled at this point looking to be pretty damn good games. This is what you'll learn. This is a reenactment of potentially what you're going to occur or watch Christmas Day.
Has time. Now locates Barkley out of the backfield. Barkley slips 2 tackles.
Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line.
Play clock at 4. All plays that have happened this season that are like, you really need to know what happens.
Well, this is Super Bowl 49 here.
Again, this is what a person that put this together feels like Christmas Day could be like on Netflix.
And they're going to snap it, and it's Pressure from Thomas off the edge. Eli Manning stays on his feet, airs it out down. Here's the running back. Play action. And Manning's going to heave one.
Ooh.
Final play of the game.
Look how old this is. How old is this?
That's the Rams.
Is that McNair?
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's now dead, right?
1 yard short.
He died?
Yeah.
Aaron McNair?
You didn't know that?
No.
He got his
It's a tragedy.
Mistress, right?
Yeah, his mistress killed him.
Get out!
I was actually in Huntsville, Alabama for a national QMA quarter midget meet when it was announced that he got it was his mistress, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In regulation.
He went over to go see her to blast her, and he'd been stringing her along for a while.
She shot him.
And she said, hey, listen, you're not going to leave your wife for me, so let me give you the good news.
Wow.
And she
Blasted
killed him. Blasted him. So anyway, you get the point. I know every one of us saw it, but the ring girl that they kept showing, the blonde. Now her face wasn't really that good looking. Actually,
the big belly button?
The blonde.
We weren't looking at the belly button.
The blonde that had the big jugs, and then they're like, oh, she's got a face, and then once you start analyzing her face, she wasn't that hot, and then the African American woman was equally as hot. And then they replaced the African American woman with a short little brunette girl, and she was hot. Ring girl Sydney Thomas speaks out of the overwhelming sudden fame after the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. This girl right here, she got supposedly, how many? 750,000.
Yeah, 400,000.
Yeah, I'm sorry. She also thanked fans for her support on Instagram, where she has over 400,000 followers. I don't know if she picked up 400,000 or she's got 400,000.
I think she had it already, I think.
Right. This is Now, I wonder how this girl did, but they had her blocked a little bit. This girl was...
I was trying to find, because I know you had a little crush on her, and I couldn't really find anything on her.
I had a little crush on her. Well, I had more...
With this, Tyson fighting Hall tonight.
Scotty Farrell. I wanted to know what happened to Scotty Farrell. What's he doing nowadays?
In Jerry's World in Arlington, are you surprised he got cleared to fight, considering his age and the fact that he had a medical episode just a month or two ago?
Yeah, it's been a couple months since that ulcer and bleed. That's why we said it would be delayed so long.
Yeah, well, we don't need to know that he didn't, whatever medical condition he had didn't really matter if you're not going to throw any fights. I mean, if you're not going to throw any punches, if you're just going to sit in there and, like, what did he throw, like 27 total punches, or what landed, like 27 total landed?
Yeah, I think he threw 98 punches.
Yeah. And I think, Jake Paul threw like 300?
200,
something
I think
like
it's 70. And I sent you all 5 ring girls.
Jeez, Lummy.
There's a lot of extra research on this, Bubba.
Going shopping.
Lummy's like, I'm not going to leave no stone unturned. These are the ring girls.
Yeah, those are the ones that...
Look at this one. Look at her. Wow.
Lexi?
Yeah, Lexi Williams. And I never saw I never saw this girl.
No.
I think I only saw these 3. These 3 are the only ones that I saw. I didn't see the other ones.
I mean, we missed a good chunk of the main card.
Yeah, for Warsaw football.
They had a nice little rotation, I think.
Nice.
Warsaw football.
Yeah, well, listen, sorry. For those,
it was worth it. It was a great game.
For those
it was a really good game.
We had bigger pops during the Warsaw game than the Tyson fight.
Yeah, I mean, the Warsaw game, yeah.
This was a real game. It's competitive. It wasn't fixed.
Some NFL scores over yesterday. Ravens, Bengals. Boy, that was a shootout.
It was.
Phew. Panthers beat the Giants. This is last week. This is last week's matchup, right?
Yeah, week 11.
Yeah, here we are. This is this week's. Here's Packers over the Bears.
It was a wild finish last night, Lummy, I think, right?
Yeah.
Not to try to trigger Seth or nothing, but you
can't be triggered about something that you don't care about.
But finally, the Bears were going to beat the Packers. Mm-hmm. They had beat them up and down the field. They really are. The Bears did everything, and Caleb Williams showed up. Caleb Williams single-handedly beat the Packers. Single-handedly. From his rushing to his accuracy, this game was single-handedly won on Caleb Williams' back.
And the Bears defense did a good job a few times when they really had to.
They really did. Intercepting Love in the red zone. Yeah. Holding the Packers.
Fourth and goal. Yeah, that fourth and goal.
Yeah,
right.
They had first and goal at the 2, and it ended up being 4th and goal, and they still couldn't get it in because the Bears defense, which I think the Bears defense is the number 1 defense in the league. I think.
I don't know if it's above the Steelers, but they're in the top 5.
I know they're number 1. One stat they kept showing during the game was they're the number 1 red zone defense. Like, you're not getting anything in on them on the red zone.
None of it really even matters anymore.
So they were. I mean, it was the first time in, I think, was it 10 years?
I think 5 years. I think the Packers have won 10 straight.
10 straight. The last time I think the Packers got beat was in 2018. And I mean, this is a 46-yard attempt, and the Bears have got a good field goal kicker. Like, he's not some ass bucket that's been, he's really good. And if you see, it does get blocked, but if you see, it was right down the middle. It was headed, 3 seconds left. I mean, I'm watching it saying, okay.
It's done.
It's done. We did our best. Packers choked. Question is, where did it land? Because when they show the other, let me take this. I'm going to take closed caption off.
It looked like it sailed a good bit.
It did look like it sailed, like it could have maybe almost gone in.
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 more yards. It could have.
Yeah, it looked like it landed in the end zone.
Did it land like on the A of the Bears?
Yeah,
right around there.
Even though it was blocked, all it was blocked to take a little of the horsepower off, because it still, it never really shows of the 3 angles a good shot of where it lands. But to me, It wasn't blocked. Like a lot of times they're blocked and they end up, going real far right, real far left, or even like not even really past the line of scrimmage, or sometimes even behind.
Or like straight up in the air.
Yeah. But this one was kicked so well that I thought it might still have a chance.
Oh, my goodness, the Packers.
Okay, so I guess we can see it here. Allow me a little bit.
Oh, my goodness, the Packers.
So the ball lands.
Yeah, it's right there.
The ball lands, on the other side of the goal. Go. Perfect snap, maybe just a tad high, but in
the center, gets his
perfect plant.
Left hand up.
And it looks like, 94 is actually on the way down.
The kick's a little low.
It looks like he just literally scrapes the ball.
Yeah, he jumps half a second later. He's palming that thing down.
Right. So it looked like he almost mistimed it.
And that fingertip.
See, they break away from.
It's all you need from this distance.
I got to tell you, man, Tom Brady is getting better and better and better.
He is.
I listened to him and Romo yesterday, and I thought Brady smokes Romo on the color commentator.
Just said you can't.
Here it is. Hold on.
Can't take any of it for granted. And they did.
Oh, so I guess you can see it hits it hits the boom.
And they did.
It looks like it hits kind of the A in Bears, which is the A is exactly in front of the field goal, the goalpost.
Everything they could to get into that. And it is absolutely heartbreaking for the Bears. And exhilarating for the Packers.
Carl Brooks, the second-year player from Bowling Green, splits the double team, gets the hand up, and he gets enough.
And it really wasn't like a lineman breakdown. It's just a guy, just like if you look at it, he didn't get much penetration.
Breaking for the Bears.
Like, look, okay, watch. Like, he's
exhilarating.
Well,
for
maybe, he gets, I guess he
Packers.
gets a little.
Times it perfect with the long snapper to be able to hit him.
Brooks, the second-year player from Bowling Green.
And even being blocked, that thing damn near went in.
Splits the double team, gets the hand up, and he gets enough.
First thing that's happened is I was like, oh, my God, Seth. Poor Seth. He has been waiting so long.
It doesn't matter anymore. My mom asked me a question last week. She goes, "What's the point?" And I asked her about being a Bears fan. She goes, "What's the point?" And it stuck with me for a couple of weeks. And I had tears of joy in my eyes yesterday before that field goal kick. I was like, "Wow, I can't believe this is happening."
Yeah, you guys.
It's all happening. Caleb's doing this.
Caleb's like coming. He's coming together.
The tears were pre-made. They were ready, and then that happened, and. I felt sick, and then I'm a grown-ass man feeling sick over a game I bet no money on. It's strictly just pride. And
same way.
I don't want to have it. I don't want to have pride. I don't want to have anything.
I was sick in my stomach, too, that my team was going to lose. They looked like crap. Packers looked like crap. And, I was just like sick to my stomach. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to, life will go on. No big deal.
Hey, Baker and the Bucks are about to go on a nice little run here. So if you want to join the crew for the rest of the year.
Baker, the Bucks.
I won't be upset.
They're fixing to go on a run.
What's the name of the quarterback from the Commanders? The new one.
Daniels?
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels.
So they're saying how he's doing such a great job and Caleb's doing such a bad job, but their numbers are almost identical.
I don't know about bad job. I think it's more of it's out of Caleb's hands to a certain degree. The Bears.
Caleb found his niche though yesterday, man. A perfect amount of he. By the way, his passes were great. His wide receivers were open. Packers were trying to go man-to-man zone and then sucked up to man-to-man. Couldn't get really much pressure on him. The one time they were 3rd and 19 when the Packers sacked him twice. You were like, man, okay, finally the Packers came to play. Caleb gets him a first down on that 3rd and 19. I'm like, oh, at that point I was like, oh my God, if Caleb can get him 3rd and 19, which would have been the ball game had the Packers stopped him, puts him in scoring position. Was a perfect match. Now, he's a threat to run. I think he was averaging over 10 yards a carry. He was their leading rusher.
He finished with 7.8.
And you got to remember, the good quarterbacks go to the crappiest teams. And so if you give that team a year or two to mature and get better, and you give him a year or two to mature and get better, because rookie quarterbacks are never as good as 3-year quarterbacks, I think it's premature to write them off. They're going to have some ups and downs this season, but I think Chicago is going to be a decent team over the next 2 or 3 years.
I think yesterday,
he's a good quarterback.
Seth, you watched the game. I think the offensive coordinator switch was crucial because you could see that now they got him getting rid of the ball quicker. From 9 sacks from the Patriots 2 weeks ago to I think maybe only a few with the Packers, but it's all about how much he's holding the ball and how they're building a quick release around him. And then I think they're teaching him, if you don't have your first read, in 2 seconds, take off. Boom, you're out of there. And I think that strategy is going to, down the line, is going to be tougher for teams to defend. Him just going back there, going through his progression, his reads, and getting sacked.
Listen, Bubba, I agree. I think Caleb Williams is going to be phenomenal, like a top 5 quarterback in a few years. But when we're talking about down the line for me has been my whole entire existence. So everything has been down the line for the Bears, and it's never come, Bubba. And I just think that I gotta get into something else. This isn't good for my life anymore. And now I've dragged my family into this, and I made my daughter a Bears fan. So I can get her a life of suffering. I mean, now I'm thinking maybe one day she'll get married and she'll marry a guy that likes a better team, and then maybe she'll adopt that team. Like, that's how deep I'm going in all this.
Man, you're going deep.
Like, I gotta cleanse, man.
You're hoping Sammy, hooked up with a guy from Kansas City.
Don't you watch?
You're not playing for the team, Seth. It's not you losing. Who cares?
Sammy's going to turn into Taylor Swift and start liking the Chiefs.
What do you mean? Who cares? This is my team. This is what I was raised on.
Chicago. He was born in Chicago.
Family.
It's a sport that you're not playing in, dude. Enjoy the game, and then when it's over, move on to the next thing in your life. I mean, I don't understand why people have their whole lives ruined over a sports team that they're not participating in. It's foolish. Let it go. Just like you're saying, Seth. You've invested too much of emotional real estate into this football team. It's not worth it. It's football. It's boxing. It's MMA fighting. It might as well all be WWE. Who cares? Enjoy the 3 hours and then move on to the next thing in your life.
Yeah, but can a guy just get some type of hope? I mean, as an NFL fan, you're like, usually you don't have your dick kicked in the dirt for 20 plus years.
Bucks
did.
Know what I'm saying? Then they have a good year or two, and then they suck again for another 10, 15 years.
Yeah, but it's been a long time since the Bucks have suffered what the Bears have gone through.
Dan, a guy like me could use some hopes and dreams.
Yeah. When's the last time that Chicago was competitive?
Like 6 years ago when they hit the double doink in Philadelphia and lost that game.
Well, that was another,
I mean, before Brady, we were not competitive through the whole 2000 from 2000.
Yeah, 2010s were awful.
Yeah, and the 2000s.
Yeah, the Bucks have suffered as much as any team.
Yeah,
except for maybe
2010 to 2018. No, Browns are just horrible.
Think about the Browns, man.
Think about the Lions before they were good.
Oh, they're good as hell right now.
Yeah,
they are good.
I mean, all they have is Jameis, the Browns.
He's an inspiration.
Really no major upsets. Couple. Florida beats LSU. Brian Kelly now, they're saying that he may not make it. Like this is his third disappointing year for LSU. He was supposed to be all that coming from Notre Dame. I've never liked Brian Kelly.
You've always said you hated him.
I hated that guy.
Why so
much? From the time that Notre Dame got him from Cincinnati. I just think he's just not good.
He's a flim-flammer.
He
Dan.
is. He is.
He's fake.
He'll be coaching in Boston next year with a fake accent up there.
I've never liked Brian Kelly. Never liked Brian Kelly, and I like that LSU is on the verge of firing him. I mean, if you're LSU, man, like Lemmy, you're supposed to be
a good team
in the conversation of being an undefeated /1. You're in the SEC championship conversation, or you're unsuccessful. That's what the history of LSU has shown. They're not they're only a decade removed from being a national champion, aren't they? Something like that.
2020, 2019, when they had Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again. So I mean,
2019.
5 years ago.
If you got to, and then I think Brian Kelly is this is his third year, and they've been nothing. I mean, they've lost 3 and 4 games.
Every year?
For the past however many years. He was supposed to be the Messiah coming out of Notre Dame. I wish I could have talked to somebody from LSU and say, this guy's an ass bucket. He had to leave Notre Dame. You may think that he's leaving Notre Dame to come, be with you. He had to leave Notre Dame because they were going to get rid of this guy. He's an ass bucket. He just can't win the big one. He cannot win the big one. What did he take Notre Dame to the national championship twice and got their asses waxed? Completely waxed. So they get beat by unranked Florida last weekend. And I think the other upset was Tennessee got beat by, that's not really an upset.
BYU got upset.
BYU got upset, which makes an interesting twist in the Big 12 world, because now BYU has a loss. Deion's got 2 losses. If Deion wins out and BYU wins out, it ends up being, now it's locked in, BYU and Colorado in the Big 12 championship in Dallas. And, is Colorado capable of beating BYU?
We'll see how they play against Kansas this week.
I mean,
level up.
Kansas is the team that beat BYU.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. And they're playing this week.
The new top 25, Oregon at 11-0, which, by the way, Oregon barely beat Wisconsin 16-13.
Yeah, Wisconsin fired their coordinators.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
From that game?
Yeah.
No, they fired Jack Del Rio for being drunk, right?
I think Jack Del Rio stepped away after, he was drunk.
But they fired the offense coordinator, Phil Longo, after 2 years.
Formerly from the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach, and then a journeyman throughout the league. I think he was with San Fran for a while. But Jack Del Rio ended up on the Wisconsin staff and had a DUI earlier last week, midweek, like on a Tuesday, and then basically resigned. Wisconsin damn near beats Oregon 16-13. That was a close call. Ohio State, the big matchup for this next weekend is undefeated and 5th-ranked Indiana at 10-0 goes to the Big Horseshoe at Ohio State 9-1. And this is going to show, now Indiana ran through Michigan, but Michigan's got a down year big time. This is going to show Indiana's prominence, where their program really stands, right?
Yeah, and they rehired their coach for 8 years.
Yeah, they just gave him an 8-year, $72 million extension.
Yeah,
their coach. So that's the big matchup. So the new top 25: Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, Texas 3, Penn State 4, Indiana 5, Notre Dame 6, Alabama 7. Alabama, the first 2-loss team at 7. Georgia, 8. Ole Miss, 9. Tennessee, 10. Miami, 11. Miami's only lost 1, and they got them at 11?
Yeah, because the ACC's weak in their mind.
Boise State, SMU, BYU at 14. Texas A&M at 15. Colorado at 16. So BYU, which was, they dropped 7.
Yeah.
They dropped 7. Colorado up 2. So BYU's 14 and Colorado's 16. Clemson, Army, South Carolina, Tulane, Arizona State, Iowa State, UNLV, Illinois. Illinois popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, they decided to squeak in.
At 24, and Washington State down 6 at 25. So there's your top 25. The big matchup this week. And now if Indiana beats Ohio State,
it's going to be huge.
That's going to be huge. When we return, Donald Trump now officially has named his press secretary, and she's this hot 27-year-old, and she will be the youngest person ever to be a presidential,
And wasn't she just like an influencer?
I don't know what. I
think she was like an ex-influencer.
No, she was trying to run for a political office.
Really? She's beyond that?
Yeah.
She's hot.
Dan just wants to look at all the Instagram. Dan wants an Instagram model to be the press secretary.
She is, though. She's got that kind of chops. I mean, she beats Huckabee.
Well, nobody beats Huckabee.
Cleveland beats Huckabee.
Huckabee wasn't sexy. She was just smart, and you couldn't pin her down on nothing.
No, she was brilliant.
You couldn't pin her down on nothing.
But she was better with your eyes closed.
We'll get to that next, along with the fact that it looks like Joe Biden might want to trying to maybe start World War III before he leaves office.
Yeah, why not kick a little gas onto the fire?
He's now, I guess, got word to Zelensky or whatever that we're going to shoot long-range missiles into Russia. That's going to work out good.
Yeah,
don't you think
smart.
maybe as a president you should just kind of chill out?
When you have like 5 weeks left?
Just tread water a little bit, keep everybody happy.
Exactly. Just ride off into the sunset, or make Kamala president for a week, just so you can say, oh, we have the first female black president.
That's pandering. She lost fair and square.
But no. I'm saying is she could be president for a few weeks. The funny thing is, it would be such a dig because there's so much merch already for Trump to be number 47. So if they put Kamala as number 47, and Trump would have to redo all his stuff to make himself number 48, it would be funny.
Right. You're saying what you don't mean. You don't really mean that in real life.
No, absolutely. They should absolutely do that. It would give them one last FU to the Republicans on the way out.
Well, what better FU than to start World War III? And here, you know what? You guys can have a T-shirt caper all you want, but we're going to go ahead and let you inherit. We're going to let you inherit World War III.
Yeah, we're going to drop all these Trump 47 T-shirts on Russia.
Right. I'm just saying, like T-shirts, me-shirts. Let's go ahead and really churn up the Ukraine Russian situation and let you have that situation day one. When you've done pissed off Putin and he's sending nukes. And by the way, he had a press conference yesterday, Lummy, that said any country that helps Ukraine, blow off long-range missiles into Russia, you're now our target as well.
It's an act of war.
Right. So that...
Oh, he's a bitch. So North Korea can go help him, but then nobody else can do anything?
Well, we'll get to that next.
If you love that segment, then check out BubbaArmyHQ.com and do a deep dive on past shows. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be right back.
Oh, and keep holding your breath. So back to Saul Gaming. No.
Ready for this? A little tough, but yeah, I think it's.
Thomas Wilson. Okay, thanks, Nick. Good morning.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabito studios, aquabito.com/Bubba. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
Actually, Sumo got a text. Sumo's staying with me till Wednesday. He goes back to Indiana Wednesday. I travel back to Indiana on Thursday. Sumo got a text. I don't know if it was Friday or Saturday morning, like at 4 in the morning or something, and said, "You're now an uncle." And we got it. I forget which morning it was. And Tony had his baby, Tony and Leah, Tony Stewart, had their baby boy. I don't know the official dimensions and weight. I don't know that they've actually put that out yet. But Tony was in Panoma, racing NHRA. I think he was the 7th seed. Made it clear to the quarterfinals. Oddly enough, Lummy, in the quarterfinals, he won the first round, and then the second round, he was actually racing against his current wife's ex-husband.
Oh, nice.
Oh, no.
Yes. But prior to that, so Tony's there.
So it's like that at all levels, huh?
Yeah, I guess. So I think they had the baby Saturday morning or Friday morning. I don't know which one, but I know that Sumo knew before the rest of the world, about 12 hours before the rest of the world. But Tony Stewart and Leah Pruitt, who's really Leah Pruitt Stewart, welcomed baby boy Dominic James Stewart. So Tony's little boy, there it is with his wife, and then he spent some time with her, and then flew back to the meet. She was in Phoenix. They had the baby in Phoenix, which they have a home in Phoenix. That's where she kind of is from. They just bought a big home in Phoenix, and they still have their home in Columbus, Ohio Indiana as well. So he was here for the birth of the baby, then flew back, made it till I think he won the first round, won the second round, and got beat by Doug Coletta in the third, which is actually pretty good for Tony. Tony's still figuring this NHRA Top Fuel out. So welcome, Tony's a dad. Let me the action on the side of his dragster. They scratched out his name and with orange tape put dad.
Nice.
This is Tony's first child.
That's cool.
There's rumors that they may just get pregnant again real fast and pop out another one.
Get it out of the way.
Because she's so good at it. Leah's just so good at being pregnant and didn't really gain that much weight and is very athletic. And pop out and
keeps him in the car too,
and it keeps Tony in the car one more year. Because here's the deal, man: if they don't get her pregnant right away, right now, like they will with a girl, when Tony, obviously they're doing it. Dan, they've obviously taken her egg, they've harvested her eggs and harvested Tony's sperm, and they.
Oh, was it in vitro?
Yeah, so Dan, how does that go? You can even pay more. Money's no object. I think Tony's worth $100 million. So, what do you do, Dan, when you have this much money and they've harvested her eggs and they've harvested his sperm? How do you, instead of build a bear, how do you build a baby? How do they do that?
Well, there's multiple techniques ranging from actually sticking a needle in the egg and shooting a piece of sperm in it versus putting it all in a test tube together, shaking it, and hoping it works.
No. I think Tony, they picked the option where they knew they were having a boy.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work? And they knew they were having a boy, and they knew she was going to carry it. Because there's several different options where you can make it and then put it into a surrogate person to incubate it, or you can make the baby and then put it into Leah for her because she's.
You could make the baby, let it sit for a couple of days, try to figure out which one's a boy and which one's a girl, and then just use the boy one.
Is that how they do it?
They can do it that way, yeah.
That's probably how they did do it.
Fertilize multiple eggs and then just figure out which one's the boy.
And you grow it in a petri.
You can also spin down the sperm because the male sperm versus this female sperm are slightly different in weight, so you can increase the odds that way. There's a couple different ways of doing it. They call it gender evening, or there's a word for it.
It's probably very expensive.
Well, they also don't want to do it till the second kid. It's like whatever you have the first kid, let it have, and then you try to figure out to do the gender for the second kid so that you can balance.
I don't know this to be true, but I think that they
did a boy for the first one on purpose.
They
can. It's less favored.
Well, Tony, money is no object, and he wasn't going to have a girl,
right?
Because this kid's getting right into a sprint car.
That's my next question. How quickly will this kid have a steering wheel in his hand?
Sumo says he thinks he'll get this kid into drag racing, and I'm like, man, he owns Eldora. And a lot of infrastructure that would want maybe put the kid in something like the way Tony came up through the sprint. And
we start with karts though. I mean, don't they all start with karts?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no drag racing go karts, are there?
Yeah, they got these little mini.
Really?
Yeah, they got these little mini drags for kids. Yeah, they do. But I think Tony's going to put this kid in a go kart, just like he did, and then maybe like a micro sprint. Kind of like the way I brought up Tyler, where he'll drive anything. And, you can take him right there to Eldora and let him, the kid gets, by this time he's 7 or 8 years old, he's ripping around Eldora at a competitive pace. So, anyway, Tony Stewart, congratulations, has his first child.
That's great.
Dominic James Stewart. It's just now, again, I got some inside information that they may just, because they want a family and probably a girl, that they may, go ahead and lab do a girl.
Gender balance.
And throw it in Leah, and about this time next year or a little bit earlier. Now, Dan, how long should they wait if Leah just had a child? Let's call it November 16th. How long does it take her body to prepare to carry another child?
Well, you can get pregnant very fast, like within 6 weeks. They should probably wait about 3 months. That way she can breastfeed uninterrupted and then have the baby.
Right. So you're saying, you know,
maybe you can breastfeed while you're pregnant.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
What? Knowing Tony, he'd probably want to get her pregnant like now. Like, could she? Like in the caveman days, as soon as a woman popped it out, is the caveman already trying to get her knocked up?
Well, she's probably like in a foul mood and bleeding for a couple of days, but within a week or two, he was, yes.
So you're saying by Thanksgiving, you know, Leah could be ready to carry another baby?
Well, you heard Irish twins that naturally are born within a year of each other, so and it takes 10 months. So you can absolutely.
This could be Columbus, Indiana twins.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, hey, Leah, you know, for Thanksgiving, we're going to go ahead and now, Dan. So once they make the baby, they you know,
you say make the baby.
No, but like, you know, how
once they fertilize the egg.
Yeah.
I just didn't make sure I understood what you're asking.
No, but what I'm saying is like, they've already harvested her egg, and so at that point they take Tony's sperm, right? Yes. And they take like a syringe or something and they inject it in all underneath a microscope into her egg, and then that sperm, you know, fertilizes it, and it's now you've got the starting of a baby.
Yes.
Correct? Now,
you have a fertilized cell with 46 chromosomes.
Once they get that, how long do they make it? How long does it have to stay in the petri dish before they implant it into her uterus?
It depends. You know, most eggs naturally implant, 2 to 5 days after fertilization. So they have a couple days.
So do they take that egg then and fertilize it and like put it into her uterus?
Eventually, yes.
And
sometimes they'll drop 2 or 3, And in the old days, the octomom did, in vitro, and they fertilized 8 eggs, and they put all 8 in her, and all 8 made it. And so that's a problem when they overplant.
So do they plant? Wow. Do they plant one?
They usually plant more than one. They usually plant a couple.
And then now, what if all 3 start taking and
you get triplets?
And you don't want triplets.
Well, then you got to selectively remove
one of them,
the pregnancies, which is dangerous because you could end up losing all 3. It's high stakes, high tech, and it's evolving, Bubba, because again, they don't want octomoms, so they're not putting in 6 and 7 and 8 eggs anymore.
I don't think Tony wants 8 kids.
No, God, no. Who does?
Tony wants 2, a boy and a girl, and he's got the money to make sure that it gets only a boy and a girl.
Right.
So, and I would think if my inside intel is correct, Leah is pregnant by Christmas.
Yeah, probably.
And
January.
She'll go ahead to carry this till about October, November, about the same time, and then she's done.
I'm surprised they don't have a surrogate for the second one. She went through it all. Why not pay a surrogate $50,000 or $100,000 to have the baby?
Yeah, and get her back.
Why tear up your tummy?
Right, Tony, go to the surrogate deal.
It's $100,000 tops these days. I mean, people do anything for money.
And when you're a surrogate, they really, really pay attention to your health.
Oh, yeah. They take care of the person. You become, like a VIP.
Lummy, I wanted to recognize a couple of our sponsors for our content house. First of all, for our content house, man, I can't thank Red and Macho Man and Rhett and Gary and Seth and Brian and Merch Crick and Colton and Tuttle. Just everybody stepped up and provided content. They really did. And then, of
Lummy
course,
was there too, but it's all right.
What's that, Lummy?
I said Lummy was there. It's all right.
I said Lummy?
No, it's all right, though.
I was putting you with me.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Looks like I did the least, and I caught a bunch of crap for it, but, whatever.
Oh.
I guess I caught a bunch of crap for watching the Warsaw football game.
But you told everyone you were.
Yeah, but whatever. So anyway, Lummy, and then of course, the yoga instructor did a great job. I didn't do so good on the yoga. The mat slipped out from underneath me, and I fell over.
Have we gone viral yet?
I don't know. Hopefully, Rhett and Gary are working on that. That slip.
How flexible are you?
Oh, I'm not. I'm about as flexible as having concrete running through my veins. And I didn't want to do it anyway. Because I'm just not a yoga guy.
Oh, the fall's great, man. Dan, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, the fall's wonderful.
Hopefully we'll get it soon. Anyway, Lummy, Big Red, like Gooch actually texted me and be like, my God, the food service, the food is unbelievable.
I was actually really upset that I didn't get the food because I was looking forward to it.
Lockhart's Seafood provided us with. We had stone crab. Wow. Freshly cracked. Like Big Red even cracked it. We had shrimp cocktail. We had stone crab.
What night was this?
We had Friday night. We had steak. We had baked potatoes. We had mushroom and onions. We had chocolate cake afterwards with butler service. Tuttle and Colton were the butlers.
Dad Horner, $10.
Fish on the J, $30 on the PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. But Lockhart's Seafood, which I think is in Pinellas County.
Yeah, it's in Tarpon Springs.
Man, great seafood. From stone crab to pink shrimp to regular shrimp. Great job. Thank you so much, for that. Everybody did such a great job. Seth, you killed it on karaoke. And Lummy, it is official. I've seen some people that have watched the tape that Brian really cheated on the dodgeball.
Knew it.
He's a very aggressive cheater.
He is.
Killer Bee Customs.
He did great all weekend, though. By the way, man, but Brian was very dedicated to making sure that there was something going on at all times.
He did,
even when I told him that he didn't have to.
Oh, we carried that karaoke on Saturday.
He's a karaoke machine. He loves to do his karaoke. Killer Bee Customs. They're the people that do the custom helmets. The custom helmets.
Oh, nice.
That one I got, the Jordan Love one that I got. But they're a big sponsor. I want to start doing some more stuff with them. So, again, thank you to Lockhart's Seafood and Killer Bee Customs for being, and Aqua Bieto. They sent a ton of water.
Yeah, and Paper Towel Willie with the food.
And oh yeah, my God, Paper Towel Willie. Thank you for the $600 food budget. And my God, did we not have just the most unbelievable food?
Oh, it was good.
I mean, it would just hold on. Look at the TV. Looks like us going to Orlando on Friday. Seth,
the traffic was that bad, huh?
Seth, it was probably, well, Dan, let me tell you something. Our content house was 56 miles from this parking lot, okay? Mm-hmm. And it took me 2 hours and 47 minutes to get there.
It's pretty bad. But Bubba, in all honesty, I know we've mentioned this in the past, the controversial canceled high-speed rail.
Yeah.
Now, let's assume that thing was loaded up every time they ran it. Maybe 1,000 people.
No. Here's what they should do.
It wouldn't have made a damn bit of difference.
Here's what they should do. I'll tell you what would make a damn bit of difference. If you're on I-4 headed to Orlando and you look to your left, you can see, they have, 50 to 80 yards of straight grass with a guardrail going through it where they could literally have 2 or 3 additional lanes. Instead of having 4 lanes going to Orlando, have 6 or 7. That's lane. Screw high rail, high speed rail. More lanes are what people need.
Yes and no. I think a 7-lane highway would scare the living out of most drivers because those are scary even for experienced drivers. What they should do going along, they're leaving that area open for 2 reasons. Head-on collisions and potential space for a rail or some kind of elevated, and this is what they're going to end up doing, is an elevated express lanes. Have 2 lanes that go straight from Tampa to Orlando with maybe 2 exits along the way.
Oh, so like
the crosstown, like it would be like a turnpike type deal where you pay, maybe you pay $4 in tolls gladly to save an hour and a half.
4, I think the average guy would pay 20.
Yeah, to save that kind of time.
It's $20 for you to get up on the expressway. It's 3 lanes going each direction. 6 total lanes, 3 lanes each direction, and there's a stop in Lakeland. And there's a stop, maybe Lummy and at Disney.
Davenport, yeah.
Boom. That's it.
Celebration.
That's it.
And then it feeds into, when you get downtown, it just naturally feeds into, the regular I-4. But anyway, the Content House, thank you so very much. The numbers of views and people that watched it and things like that are impressive and good, whether you liked it or not. It was what we wanted it to be, and that was just us all hanging out for a weekend and the dynamics that represented. Lummy, we did run into a little bit of a problem at the meet and greet.
Yes.
leave it to us to have these type of issues, where we said we're going to be at the Davenport Ale House. That's where we're going to be. That's what our place was called up until a week ago.
Oh, come on.
And so Miller's Ale House, which is 2 miles up the road, changed its name last week to the Davenport Ale House. And our place where we were going to be changed its name to what, Lummy?
Davenport Sports Bar and Grill.
Davenport Sports Bar and Grill. So we had about 30 to 40 people at a place that was 2 miles up the road that didn't get to see us until our last half an hour there. And by the way, Lummy, Austin Wolf was one of them.
Yes, he was.
Come on.
And Little Wilbur's Afterbirth, too.
Yeah. We're like...
And Macho.
Macho's the wrong one, too?
Yeah.
It's
frustrating.
Because when you typed in Davenport Ale House, it took you to that one 2 miles up the road.
That's our luck. But, Lummy, we were able to use the cat.
Yes, we were.
I mean...
How'd it work?
Well, $806 worth for 4 people. 5 people. The average, I think we had, Lummy, as low as $56 and as high as $300.
Yes, we did.
That was the spectrum, Dan, of people in the cash cube.
Yeah, but the chick got up $300 because she was shoving them in her bra, right?
Right. She like, yeah. And you can do that. I mean,
you got the bigger the jugs, the more cash you're taking.
Right.
It's like a big net.
The dude is the one that was the low end. The guy who did it first got 56, and the girl that did it last and was able to watch a few chicks do it. Chicks seem to do better, Lummy.
They sure do.
At the cash cube.
Yeah.
Better at grabbing money out of thin air.
Yeah. So I'm sure Red will have a cash cube standalone. Maybe all 4 or 5 of them linked together. And then, Lummy, we know the cash cube works. So thank you for the people that swung on by, and more importantly, Colton and Tuttle did such a great job with their little trampoline. I mean, with their little night watchman gimmick. Now, Lummy, I went to bed right after the Jake Paul deal. What happened in the overnight hours that I was asleep for?
They did. Everyone kind of went out and talked while they might have been doing some different things on the patio.
There was like a late night podcast with everybody, and then it ended, and then Tuttle and Colton went to their tent.
Yeah, they went to sleep.
And then I was watching the stream of the tent, and I saw like a flashlight go on and off in there. I didn't know what was going on, but that was half the fun.
Oh, so when you were laying in bed, you were watching the feed.
I pulled it up.
Of the tent.
Yeah.
My pills had kicked in, so I was done. I was done. Anyway, go to our YouTube channel. If you'd like, and watch the Content House footage. There's a lot, and we'll be taking various high spots from the Content House and making them standalone videos, one of which when we tried to do yoga, and I fell over.
Yeah, I was trying to show Phoebe yesterday because it's a 12-hour video, so you got to really, if you really fast forward for too much, you go right past it. So I finally found it, and she was dying.
Can you tell what does it look like?
Big E7375, $25.
Looks like
a fainting goat.
It's a timber. It's a big timber.
It's just a big.
It's a big timber, like in slow motion.
Fat guy that fell over.
That Horner, $10.
No, it's Bubba. You look. No one really looks good falling, but you do.
You do. You fell really gracefully.
You actually
it's an art.
Pretty cool.
Mm. Well, thank you for putting the fact over that I can fall well. Thank you.
You're the best. Nobody can fall like you. Nobody's got goats.
Anyway,
you and Tony Hawk. I mean, it's an art, man.
Rhett and Macho and Gary really, really kept the stream going well. There was a lot of infrastructure they had to wire up and mic up, and you guys just did a great job. Brian kept things moving all along. Lummy, thank you. Seth, thank you. Colton and Tuttle, thank you. Big Red kept us fed. It was It was really, really good. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that participated.
Well, Big Red, I guess he had a little too much to drink on Friday night.
I think a lot of people were overserved.
Well, no, I know, but I mean, Saturday morning, he decided he wasn't going to make the hash browns that were on the menu, but then Lummy stepped up to do that for everybody.
He made everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sure did.
He made everything else. He made the quiche.
No, he did great. I just
want
to let people know. I want to let people know that Lummy, like he always does, Lummy stepped up. He goes, "You want some more Ida potatoes? I got you." He goes, "They'll be ready in 10 to 12 minutes." 45 minutes later, those things are nice. Things are crispy as hell.
Were they frozen, Lummy?
Yeah,
so you started from frozen?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you for stepping up, Lum.
I just wanted to make sure Seth had his potatoes.
You stepped up in so many different ways. Again, everybody that participated, thank you so much, including our sponsors, Killer Bee Customs, and was it Lockhart Seafood?
Yes.
Thank you so very much. Aquabeto Water as well. Thank you so very much. Go to our YouTube if you like and navigate through the Content House stuff. You'll be able to find some stuff. My favorite part, I actually liked dodgeball.
The dodgeball?
I actually, even though my team got beat or we actually got ripped off.
Yeah, cheated.
But I liked dodgeball.
Brian was cheating?
I liked dodge. I really liked dodgeball.
And if there's one thing you had to change, what would it be?
I hated yoga.
Okay. Yes, dodgeball, no yoga.
But the yoga was very important. I liked everything. I thought everything. We always had something going on. I had a little bit of a situation I had to deal with, but I got it handled. It was
Matroni stepped up. He was a one man show at times.
Brian really. If I was to make an MVP of the Content House, it would be Brian Matroni on the talent end, and Rhett, Gary, and Macho on the technical end. Those would be my two VIPs. Sorry, Tuttle and Colton. Although Colton and Tuttle, man, let me just see Colton taking trash out, making sure everything's good. You know what?
Yeah.
The Merch Crick did a lot too.
Yes, she did.
Really did. So there's my three VIPs. The engineering group,
Matroni,
Brian Matroni, and the Merch Crick. Throw Colton in there as well. Lummy will be back with Putin warns countries getting involved in this latest part that there could be ramifications. And Donald Trump's new press secretary will both do next.
If you want 24/7 on-demand Bubba and the crew, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com.
Right now.
The Bubba the Love Sponge show will be back after this.
Last house every 9 months. Up and go, Steve. I don't know what was it, 80-some months. Up and go, Steve. Merchant on the LL Cool J. 269. I had not. Good, 269. That's a big buck. Need to havoc. Probably to make a peanut butter or coffee. Really? And somehow I think I got that by accident at the surgery center.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabito studios. Aquabito.com/Bubba. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
A1390 Bubba. Haven't really promoted the phone lines much today. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. Did I mention Fish on the J was my latest on my PayPal? Thank you for that, Fish on the J. He said he was sorry for missing the Ale House deal. He had some type of situation he could not. It was good to see. Who's the guy? Was it Tim from New Orleans? We had a guy from New Orleans that drove Jay.
And it was his birthday.
It was his birthday.
And he was jacked.
He told me if I'm ever in New Orleans, let him know, and I was trying to figure out what I would get from him in New Orleans.
He's a hostage negotiation.
What?
Yes.
What? Why did he? I talked to him 8 times. He never said that once.
Well, it's because he maybe he didn't feel I don't know, but I got to know him quite well. He's been listening to the show for a long time.
Yes.
He's a daily listener, doesn't miss.
He's a hostage negotiator.
Well, he works. He's law enforcement. Then within law enforcement, part of the SWAT team, they have the SWAT team guys that go in with the flashbangs and the guns. They have the SWAT team guys that sit back and maybe run the robot, and and defuse bombs, and then they have a part of the SWAT team that does the hostage negotiation where they'll throw a phone into the area and you're getting a hold of the bad guy. That's what he is.
Maybe it'd help you if you ever got in a big argument with your wife.
Yeah. Be like, hold on, honey.
I gotta call my guy.
Let me call Jay from New Orleans. You might want to help. Next time Romina starts cutting a promo, be like, whoa, hold on. Let me get my friend on the phone. Start working this out.
President-elect Donald Trump has been quickly naming members of his second administration. Trump announcing last night Caroline Leavitt will be the White House press secretary. Leavitt previously served as an assistant press secretary in Trump's first administration. It comes as members of Congress are pushing for the bipartisan House Ethics Committee to release its findings from an investigation into former Congressman Matt Gaetz for alleged sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. Gaetz is Trump's pick for Attorney General. Sources tell ABC News the committee heard from a woman who said Gaetz had sex with her when she was 17.
Now, let me just ask this.
Not Gaetz.
And that is like if they already, when this happened, listen, I'm not sticking up for Gaetz. I don't like this pick. I don't like this pick at all.
It's unnecessarily divisive.
Right. I think there's a ton of people that you could put in there in lieu of this guy. But, so I want everybody to know that I don't like the pick. But he was cleared of these charges by a judiciary, like House committee. This has already been in front of these people. When it came down to 2.5 years ago, there was a no file. There was a no pros, no file on it the first time. What makes it different the second time?
He's been nominated for an important office, and that's why. It's the same thing. They just bring it up when they feel like they have to. Yeah. So, he was cleared. Just like they keep calling Trump, Adam Schiff keeps calling Trump a Russian plant. I mean, for some reason, they just keep going back to the same old jukebox, playing the same old crusty-ass songs from 1978 that no one cares about anymore. It's like the old Dolphins.
I mean, wouldn't this be somewhat double jeopardy in the fact that you're a U.S. congressman? You're a U.S. congressman. This allegation has already been brought up in as an inquiry, and they decided not to move forward with it. Why? The data hasn't changed. I guess they're
not trying him criminally. So it only counts for criminal stuff, dude. If they want to bring this up on an ethical issue when he's being considered for Attorney General, they have every right to.
Okay.
And I don't love him. I don't hate him, but it seems like an unnecessarily controversial pick when he's got so many people just waiting for him to make a controversial decision to jump on him.
Gentleman from California seeks recognition.
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the desk.
The clerk will report the amendment.
Reserve a point of order.
Point of order is reserved. Mr. McClintock.
Amendment to the amendment in the nature of a substitute offered by Mr. McClintock, offered by
Without
Mr.
objection, the amendment will be considered as read, and the gentleman is recognized to explain his amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment is...
Man, a lot of protocol procedure. I just want to get them taught.
Simple. It would exempt individuals fleeing communist and totalitarian regimes from Section 104. We should exempt people fleeing communist and totalitarian dictatorships. Migrants are put at risk.
The gentleman yields back. Does the gentleman seek?
Yes, your answer is no, then, Mr. Gaetz.
I'm trying to get to where they get. Suppose they light up Gaetz here or something like that.
In terms of art, these are the terms used in current law, and so we are merely applying current law to protect people, and in particular, in this case, those that are fleeing communist dictatorships. If the gentleman, his objection is...
It says entire Congress erupts as Trump's AG Gaetz humiliates Adam Schiff to his face. I want to see that. Is this Adam Schiff right here?
Yes, and there's so much dirt on this guy. This guy has a very, very, very checkered past and present, and I'm surprised that he keeps getting away with throwing so many darts at the other side.
What are some of the things that this guy supposedly,
crooked, taking money, sexual stuff. There's all kinds of stuff on this guy.
That you perhaps assume too much, my
Then
friend.
your answer is
because
yes.
I'm asking what you mean by totalitarian dictatorship and just whether.
This is Gaetz here, right?
the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia would qualify. It's just a yes or no question. Well, I certainly think.
Forgive me for not knowing the list that Ms.
Would you like an answer, Mr. Gates? I certainly consider Saudi Arabia to be a dictatorship. Yes, I do.
A totalitarian one?
Mr. Gates, my question is, if your problem with this amendment is you think it's
Mr.
overbroad.
Schiff, I'm not stating a problem with the amendment. I am merely asking you what it means.
My question then, Mr. Gates, is
what is the difference between a dictatorship and a totalitarian dictatorship?
I've heard enough. This is a bunch of nonsense. Here's Putin. Putin ain't real happy the fact that now let me do I have I think here we go. Is this it right here? Where
Biden.
Where Biden authorizes Ukraine to use U.S. long-range missiles to strike inside of Russia. So is that the story right here?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on here.
Velikovich is a Fox News contributor and a former special operations intel analyst. He knows a lot about drones, and he joins us today from somewhere in Europe. Good afternoon to you, Brett.
Hey, good afternoon. First, let me say big congrats to Pete Hegseth from your show. If I had known all these years I was being interviewed by and briefing the Secretary of Defense, I might have buttoned up a little bit. So honestly, though, it speaks, I think, to the credibility of your show, your staff, and trusted news.
Hold on. So Trump took a guy from Fox News and made him in charge of the military or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
Bring Americans every single day who really trust you, and so much that your own was chosen to run one of our nation's top positions, so very well deserved.
Indeed. And if Pete were sitting on the couch, as he has for hundreds of hours, he'd say thank you very much. Let's start at the beginning. There is some conventional wisdom on the political left. The Ukrainians hate Donald Trump. You were just there. You're there all the time. Tell us the truth.
It's just not true what they're saying. I mean, frankly, it is getting worse on the ground. I just left, and it's the worst I've ever seen it there. But wanting the war to end soon does not mean not supporting Ukraine. People don't seem to remember that Trump provided lethal aid to Ukraine during his first term. He didn't appease Russia during the first term. He's just simply stating he wants the war to be over. And a lot of people want the war to be over.
Absolutely.
Ukrainians are very resilient. They're fighters from birth. They'll fight till every last man, woman, and child. But we shouldn't make them.
Tell me, wasn't the girl that we raided on Thursday originally
Ukrainian? Yeah.
Have to do that. We wield a lot of power as the American government, and Trump needs to use that power. Ukrainians want peace. They want the war to end. And one of the more annoying things that I have to see when I'm in country is I have to sit there and watch liberal media coverage of the region that's been running near nonstop lies about how Ukrainians supposedly feel about Trump and pushing this fake agenda here in Europe the last couple of days of how bad supposedly Ukrainians think it is that he was elected. And that is just not true.
Well, what type of media are they getting? Is the Ukrainian media naturally liberal too? Well, I mean, is all world media liberal? What was that, Seth? Are you going to say?
I would imagine that Ukrainian people that are plugged in probably are aware that, some of the funds and weapons might dry up if Donald Trump, gets in there and starts getting his hands on things, which I think he's promised many times.
Well, I've had a lot of conversations with senior Ukrainian government. I
think the difference is that the current administration was content with a long, drawn-out war, just trying to manage it. And Trump is more of the tune is like, we're ending it. We're not going to have a long, drawn-out Vietnam-type 8-year, just trickle and trickle and trickle and bleed. It's not appropriate. Figure out the problem, solve it, and move on.
But if Ukraine won't concede the land, how does it end?
I think Ukraine should concede the land because it shouldn't have been theirs to begin with. If you look back over the last 100 years, if you want to talk about historical borders, and we like to bring this up with the Palestinians, but we don't like to bring this up with the Ukrainians. It's again the hypocrisy within the media, but that land belongs to Russia. I realize that Russia invaded and the whole 9 yards, but that land was Russian for 100 years or more, hundreds.
Nearly every single one of them say the same thing. There is over.
Well, and doesn't evidence show that the people that we're speaking about that live in that land want to be part of Russia more so than they want to be part of Ukraine?
Yes, and it's. I mean,
is that the truth?
It is, and it's the way that the border was supposed to be drawn after World War I and after World War II, but it was drawn wrong after World War II because we had the USSR. The border didn't matter. It was like the border between Georgia and Florida doesn't really matter because we're in the same country in the same state.
Well,
I mean,
it really
they're just
does.
adjoining states.
It does. Yeah, you're either a bulldog or a gator.
That's right.
Overwhelming and resounding excitement that Trump won the presidency and how much he's going to help Ukraine. They see Trump as the answer to ending this war and bringing back peace to that country.
So let's talk a little bit about the state of the war right now. In the last couple of days, it sounds like, and the reason we always talk to you, because you are the smartest guy we know about drones. It has become a drone war.
Is Jay here?
Yes.
I can smell the high karate
over there. And it is particularly deadly. And in fact, the residential building right next to you got blown up, yesterday? The day before yesterday?
Yeah, within the last week when I was...
Man, that's all I would need to get the hell out of there. If you're in a hotel or wherever the hell you're staying and the building next to you gets blown up, and usually people inside of buildings that are blown up don't really make it. Usually it's not high survival rate.
In there, this is a very brutal and horrific war. Too many people are dying, and I've seen it firsthand. And I know Trump is going to honor his promise to restore America's strength on the world stage. And one way to do that is ending this war and helping stop a lot of these drone strikes that are taking place. We need a quick and dramatic shift from Biden's administration's Ukraine policies. It's not working. It hasn't been working for a while. We need a hard reset. I've seen these failed policies with my own eyes. When I was in Ukraine this last week, there were rounds of kamikaze Iranian Shahed drones striking all over that city. One of the apartment buildings that was right next to mine took a Iranian drone into it and completely destroyed it. This is just not sustainable. We've only given the Ukrainians just barely enough weapons to defend, but not to fully deter Russia. That is not a cohesive strategy. That is not sustainable, and people are exhausted. Americans have Ukraine fatigue, and they want this war to end. We've got to do something to stop it.
And Brett, real quickly, today, Joe Biden's probably going to turn in the Oval Office and say to Donald Trump, hey, you got to keep doing what I was doing in Ukraine. Is that a good idea?
Terrible idea. Again, wanting the war to end does not mean not supporting Ukraine. Trump was already very strong on providing lethal aid to Ukraine during his first term. So he may even be inclined to lift some of the restrictions on these long-range weapons uses and allowing strikes potentially into Russian territory. But we need more security guarantees.
I mean, I think we need our president to have an open line of communication into Putin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we need to our president right now just can't. It seems like Biden and everybody in charge now has an open line of communication to Zelensky, and they talk to him a lot. He comes over here a lot. I think he's been here 2 or 3 times.
Oh, more than that. I think they said he's been here almost 10 times.
Yeah, begging for money and weapons and what have you. But we have. I don't know that our current president, has really had any conversations at all with Putin. I think this whole thing starts and stops and potentially ends, or you have some better resolve if you have our leader, whomever that may be, have a open line of communication to Putin. You got to talk to Putin.
You're absolutely right, and that's one of the big things they say about Trump as a negative. They try to say is that he wants to have a relationship with Putin, and he wants to have a relationship with Xi from China, and he wants to have a relationship with Kim Jong-un. And the reality is, he says it's good to have a relationship of open communication with them. Don't you want to talk with the world powers, the world's leaders of all the nuclear weapons? The answer is of course. So you're right. And with this presidency, one of the biggest problems right now is Biden talking to anyone?
Just himself.
Well, or it's his people talking.
He's been in the Amazon. Bubba, I sent you Biden's where, he said they could use, because that Fox one didn't put it, but he addressed it while he was in the Amazon.
Right. He's just now saying that as he's leaving, you can go ahead and use our cruise missiles, whatever missiles America gave you, and just launch them into Russia now, which we'd said for the last 3 years was not allowed. And now we're just allowed.
It's no secret. When I'm leaving, it's no secret.
Hold on. What's he filming? The new Top Gun for senior citizens?
It's Jurassic Park.
What is it? Top Gun 80? Is he the senior citizen Maverick?
The Golden Bachelor.
I mean, what's he trying to do?
Wrestle an alligator.
I don't know what he's trying to do here. So where is he?
He's in the Amazon.
Doing what?
I think he just gave him $50 million
He's just chilling.
They put him in the most remote part of the world they could find besides Antarctica.
Well, the funniest part is that at the end of the speech, he turns around and just walks into the woods.
Yeah, he does.
Like Field of Dreams.
He hands the bat to Kevin Costner.
He's going to find the other presidents.
Take him to Disney World.
By the way, I sent you that too after.
Hold on.
It's no secret that I'm leaving office in January. I will leave my successor and my country in a strong foundation to build on if they choose to do so. It's true. Some may seek to launch.
Oh, by the way, his glasses are crooked too.
I know. I think the wax museum at Disney is going to look more realistic than him in real life.
Man, I mean, look, it looks like somebody jacked him up.
True. Some may seek to launch, deny, or delay the clean energy revolution that's underway in America. But nobody can reverse it. Nobody. It's no secret.
All right, let me
Now I sent you where he wanders in the woods.
Oh, man, come on.
I can't wait. This is better than Tyson's nipples.
Hold on. In recent days, we have seen and heard very high-level discussions in the UK and the USA about the Kyiv regime being able to strike. By the way, this is somebody interviewing Putin.
Yeah, what is this, like an on-the-street interview? I mean, does Putin have anybody around him?
I don't know.
This is the Russian Alex Stein.
Putin was just out for a smoothie.
Deep into Russian territory with long-range Western weapons.
That's exactly what I was just saying.
And it appears the decision either about to be taken apparently has already been taken. And I wanted to ask you to comment on what is happening. Putin says there is an attempt to substitute concepts because we are not talking about authorizing or banning that Kyiv regime from striking across the entire territory. It's already striking with help of drones and other means. But when it comes to using high precision, long range, Western made weapons, it's a completely different story.
Exactly.
The fact is that I have already mentioned this, and any experts will confirm that what was I saying?
Both in our country.
Both in our country and the West, the Ukrainian army is not able to strike with modern precision systems of Western manufacture.
So it's what I was saying before. So what's happening now is Biden is doing a couple of things. He's in the Amazon because he's trying to lock in place all of his environmental policies. And what he's doing in Europe is he's trying to lock in all of the policies that he had that were pro-Ukrainian. And one of them was this ballistic missile thing. It's a big deal. So what they're saying is we were allowing them to use United States or Western-made ballistics into the Ukrainian battlefield, including within the range of where they were within Ukraine.
Is there an issue now, Jay, with, very openly Russia getting North Korea involved in this whole thing?
Yes, absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
a big issue.
It's a big issue, and China too. And so what happened is, as we're leaving, he's now changing a huge policy without congressional ratification, which is saying you can use our cruise missiles to go into Russia now.
Deep
into the country of Russia.
Yeah.
And so it's just
before we had somewhat of an agreement where it would be fringe and not that precise.
But
and
don't
not
they
that
need
deep.
that? I mean, don't they need a little wake up call? Don't they need a little balance here?
Well, when you fight a proxy war, Seth, it's dangerous because when you fight a proxy war, sometimes it's like a scrimmage. You fight like at 80%, and you don't fight full hard, and sometimes the other guy's not expecting it, and so that's when problems happen. This is the worst kind of war when you have two superpowers doing a proxy war because one guy steps over a line, and then all of a sudden it blows out of proportion.
With the proxy war with Ukraine, it's like they're not winning, and they're not gonna win unless U.S. clearly gives them, everything they could possibly need.
But they can't win.
But should we have done nuclear weapons in China during Vietnam to win? Should we have really destroyed Cambodia and all those things to win? So that's the whole point. It's one of these little proxy wars. It's a playground fight that everybody's videotaping, and they're afraid someone's going to pull out a real gun.
Well, it's like it's either win or leave, right? I mean, isn't that...
No, negotiate. Like everyone's talking about ceasefire now in Israel. Well, I've been saying for years, how come no one's saying ceasefire in Ukraine? And that's what Trump is saying, is I want to sit down with this guy Putin who actually respects me, and I don't need my negotiators. I want to sit down with him, and I want to talk to him about what's going to happen. He's already had multiple calls with Zelensky. He's going to end the war by negotiating a fair deal. And so what does that mean? I don't know. Whatever those two parties can negotiate. But to unilaterally change our strategic mission over there it's really over the top because, like Danny's talking proxy wars. You hear all the time. There's no Americans fighting over there. Okay. We've just given them, is it 70 billion, 80 billion now, Lummy? It's more, right?
It's
close to
more than
100?
that, yeah.
$100 billion. So we have this war going over, and then where do they all buy it from? Our American companies.
Right, and these complicated weapons don't have instruction books written in Ukrainian either. You know what I'm saying?
They've got American troops.
We got to train them, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we're there. We're there.
So we're trying to pretend like America's not in a war with Russia.
Joe wants to pretend that he's walking off.
But can we be honest and say that Putin doesn't want any of this? He doesn't want this smoke?
Does he remind you of Jerry Jones a little bit?
Hold on. So hold on.
Just not as horny, but yes.
Like a dark match version of
when
him.
When Biden gets done with the speech,
Biden.
this is him in the is it Congo?
The Amazon.
In the Amazon.
Is this a deep fake or does he really just go off?
No, you'll see it. It's real.
Come on, man.
Where's he going?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is he following the trail of breadcrumbs back to the campsite?
But not only that, but he's not even on path. It looks like he's getting ready to go behind one of these big palm fronds.
Does he?
And then take a leak, kind of like the way you guys take urinations outside. Watch.
Did he fire all of his handlers? Like, where are the people? Where's somebody to guide him?
Like, hold on. So if you look hold on. If you look right here, the only thing is there is a bunch of leaves.
It's a dead end.
The path obviously goes that way. I mean, right?
We don't even. It's just the Congo. We don't know what the hell's going on out there.
There could be literally a huge python behind that. I mean, right?
Yeah, some sort of bobcat, perhaps.
Anaconda.
I mean, he just. I mean.
Well, you know what he's doing, Bubba? He's showing no fear. He said, I'll run into this bush. I don't care what wild animal's in there.
Spiders.
Here's what Putin.
Spiders be damned.
In the updated version of the document,
by the way, Putin has pretty damn good English. You know it?
Mm-hmm. Of course he can.
In the updated version of the document,
that's not him.
Aggression against Russia.
Oh, okay.
He's moving his lips like Bruce Lee. And,
that's a translator.
Enter the Dragon.
I feel so stupid.
It's all right. That's why Dan and Jay are here.
Yeah, right. To dumb down my stupidity.
By any non-nuclear state, but with the support of a nuclear state, is proposed to be considered as their joint attack on Russia. Russia will also consider the possibility of using nuclear weapons when receiving reliable information about a massive launch of means of aerospace attack and their crossing of our state border. This includes strategic and tactical aircraft, as well as cruise missiles and drones, hypersonic and other delivery vehicles. Russia reserves the right to use nuclear weapons in case of aggression,
See, including that's why it's scary.
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
Hold on, listen to that again.
That's crazy.
Russian reserves
the right. Russia reserves the right to use nuclear weapons in case of aggression.
So hold on.
That's it.
In case of aggression.
What
now,
do you think's aggressive?
This little border war that we're playing now, 5, 10, 15, 20 miles either side of the border is one thing, but you start lobbing Western-made missiles and stuff into the heart of Russia, we reserve the right to combat that with nuclear weapons.
Yep.
Including if the...
Which is a whole nother game.
They're not.
And they've got more than we have, or just as many.
They're not doing that, though.
Using conventional weapons.
Well, I mean, hold on. Why would the president say that?
Well, I mean, because it's a threat. It's the same thing that Kim Jong-un's been saying for years. The biggest pussy nations are the ones that threaten nukes.
But here it is, November 18th. We're what? 30. We're 60 days. We're 2 months from having Donald Trump in there that could potentially talk some sense into this dude. So we're 60 days. We start lobbing stuff over there, they're going to bring out the nukes.
But you know our enemies are helping Russia, win this war, right?
Exactly.
North Korea is sending bombs.
But our
sending
president
people.
doesn't have a relationship with our enemies.
That's right. And that's why
our president can't pick up the phone and talk to Kim Jong-un. He never has.
That's why when Trump was saying on the campaign stump that we're the closest to World War III that we've been in our lifetime. This is like when we were children and we had Russia. We had Ronald Reagan versus Gorbachev. And we had, this big world war, the axis of evil. And this is the same axis of evil that we used to have. It's Russia, North Korea, and China.
This is the Bay of Pigs with Kennedy.
It's scary.
This is when Jimmy Carter allowed our hostages to be there for 444 days, and the day that Ronald Reagan put his hand on the Bible where they were finally rescued. It's
which, by the way, Iran's in this too.
No, I know.
They're all in this together.
Yeah, it seems like the Democratic presidents keep getting like Charlie Browned by the bad guys.
Including if the enemy using conventional weapons poses a critical threat.
It is important to note at this point that these are, at this time, proposals to amend Russia's nuclear weapons use doctrine. We heard from Vladimir Putin multiple scenarios in which the rules and regulations governing how Russia can use its nuclear weapons will change. The first scenario is...
Again, the rules of how he can use his nukes change when we Western-made weapons are now launched deep into Russia. That changes legally, I think, maybe within the Warsaw Pact or the Geneva Convention, it might change.
But why are we looking to fire? Why are we looking to give them weapons to fire into Russia now? Because what's Russia adding to the equation?
Nothing. Biden wants to try to just throw a monkey wrench. And this is, you hate to see this, but it's his foreign policy is dramatically different than this administration's foreign policy. And so when you saw that table with Russians negotiators against the United States negotiators, those dudes and gals have been in those positions for 30 years. The next team of negotiators will look nothing like those people. It will be a whole new team of people that are designed to do one thing. Let's make a deal and let's get peace. And it's going to involve NATO.
But without those, let's take those negotiators out of the equation. Let's fundamentally throw in the fact that the new leader will be able to pick up the phone and talk to this dude.
Correct.
Whereas now our current leader cannot pick up the phone and talk to this dude.
Well,
he can't.
The last administration almost drove this into a war. They were taunting Russia right before the invasion. They were threatening Ukraine being a NATO ally.
I wouldn't be surprised that if Donald Trump, the big slinging D that he is, doesn't fly into Russia and have a sit down with Putin.
Just like he went to the TMZ. You're probably right. I hadn't even thought of that.
Flies in. He's okay. Putin. There's no risk of, Russia killing him. He's gonna be okay.
What happens if Putin fires off one nuke to Ukraine, wherever? What do you think happens to Russia from around the world?
Donald Trump steps up the potential of what we could do, but he doesn't do anything. You got to take that first nuke. You take it. Mm-hmm. And then that gives you standing to fly your ass over there and say, Putin, listen, buddy, what if I can get a hold of Zelensky? We'll get you this territory. Zelensky, you're in no position. If we don't give you things to fight back on, you're done. You're completely done. In fact, all of Ukraine is Russia. So give up the territory that was originally not really yours to begin with. Give it up, swallow some pride, save a lot of lives, and I already got Putin to say, if you give us this territory that used to be theirs, by the way, if you give us this territory, it's over. It's done. It's completely done. We redraw the map. Those territories are now part of Russia. Putin's happy. You're not so happy, but you're not in a position of negotiation unless the only way you're in a position of negotiation is if I got your back. That's the only way you can negotiate. And if I don't have your back, and I'm not going to authorize the use of nukes deep into Russia because that's a complete shitstorm, then let's give them what.
Isn't that a bluff too? I mean, isn't that the ultimate bluff?
Kinda. But you got to have a guy that's heavy-handed and strong that can bluff. You can't have a pussy. A pussy can't bluff.
But see, you need value in a deal to make the deal worthwhile.
Right. Both sides of the deal need to see some value. And so unless you make a deal that looks attractive to both, it'll look attractive to neither.
So there's a negotiating point that both of them want. Russia wants some land, and Ukraine wants to be part of NATO. Why does Ukraine want to be part of NATO? Because we have a pact with NATO that an act of aggression against one is an act of aggression against all. And that's what this whole thing is about. They're trying to get Ukraine into NATO. And so the resolution is you negotiate something where over a period of time, they become a NATO-protected country in return for a ceasefire. And I don't know what the land is or whatever the areas are.
It's not that much. It's a couple northern territories that Dan said.
It's 20% of their country,
right,
though.
So there you go. We negotiated a deal. But no one talks about that.
Give Russia that 20% eastern section. Give Crimea back to Ukraine. Make Ukraine a neutral country, so there's no threat one way or the other.
You give Ukraine money to rebuild?
Yeah.
Of course.
Why not?
Yeah, you
to stop the war.
Yeah.
Stop giving missiles.
In lieu of the money we would be spending on weapons, we give them money to rebuild.
And
right?
Seth, do you want to go in on like a Ukrainian construction company when that happens?
You know what? I never knew how to make money in life, but
Let's do this.
now this is sounding pretty. Should we
send
call
some Bubba Army guys over?
Should we call Chuck Pelosi? Who's in on this?
Clinton has a fundraising thing for the Ukrainian.
Fundraising? No. This is we want money.
Haiti too.
Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, guys. Just wanted to say it was a pleasure to hear the Spit and Cobra back live this morning. Very, very smooth on the radio. I think you actually need some kind of position within the new Trump administration.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, my friend. Anything else?
I had a question about some kind of criminal thing for Jay, but I'm not going to bother you guys. You're on a roll, man. Keep it up. I appreciate you guys. Thanks.
You can always call Jay's office, and he will help you as well. It's 8888 48 and no,
that's 888 SOS firm.
That's right. I'm looking at the boobs. It's
or just diacolaw.com is easy.
Yeah, diacolaw.com or 888. No, I'm sorry, 808 SOS firm.
888.
God damn it.
SOS firm.
888 SOS firm. You can call Jay there too. He'll help you. All right, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Think you left. Hold on.
So, Bubba, if you were king of the world, what would you do to solve this problem? What would your solution?
If you were like, President Bubba.
I'd go to Zelensky first. I'm gonna say, Zelensky, I'm gonna meet with Putin after I meet with you. Okay, buddy? But I gotta have I have to have you to agree to this in my back pocket before I go meet with Putin. He's like, okay. I'm like, I need you to give up the territories he wants. It's 20% of your country. The majority of it wants to be part of Russia anyway.
You lost 50,000 people defending that piece of land.
Right. And because I'm not
Is
going
that what they lost?
They lost a ton.
The only way,
even maybe hundreds.
If you look at the other way, the only way you're going to be able to even have a chance to retain these territories is with a ton of my help. If I'm the president of the United States, my help, and I can't give you the weapons that you need to fight a superpower like Russia and prevail without it going on forever and being the next modern day Vietnam. So give me the authority to offer these countries. And in doing so, it's an immediate ceasefire.
Could they fast track Ukraine into NATO if they wanted that part of the deal too?
And say, listen, I'm going to, within 4 to 6 months, you'll be a member of NATO. And I'll give you X amount of billions of dollars that I would have had to spend in missiles and various things to rebuild your country.
And that sounds good to me.
And you're part of NATO. I then go to Putin and say, Putin, I got you these territories that you wanted. Ukraine's going to. I'm going to give them some money to rebuild what you've blown up. and they're
going to get that land, buddy.
You're going to get that land. You're going to immediately cease fire, and we're going to roll. We're going to roll just to safeguard this doesn't happen again. Ukraine's going to roll into NATO within the next 4 to 6 months.
That's where he gets up and walks away.
I say, listen, bud,
that's a hard. You don't need Ukraine in NATO. It's symbolic, dude.
We've already done.
It pisses them off. They're protected. Keep Ukraine neutral.
I'd be like,
and say, Putin, you can have that 20%, but it's going to cost you, bitch.
Well, yeah, I mean,
so you got to pay them a couple $100 billion.
Or you just say, listen, Nate, Putin, you can't have it all one way. You gotta concede something here. He's conceded his territory that you wanted. That's all yours.
Concede Crimea.
And you obviously don't have a problem with invading him, so he's scared to death about that.
Right.
And he needs an insurance policy that this won't happen again.
And then
this is your legacy. You got this done. This is what the Russian people wanted. They wanted this territory because it used to be yours. Who cares who they're backed or protected by? You shouldn't want to invade them anymore. This is what you wanted, and you don't need any more. You don't it's not like you know.
And Dan's right. That's the big negotiating chip, but you don't have to give them that. You can assure them and say, look, they're never going to be NATO. But I'm not going to let anything happen anymore. It's not going to happen anymore. Put in the agreement that as part of it, the United States and NATO will not go in and violate the treaty between Ukraine and Russia. There's a way to keep even the NATO part out of it, but that's their big one.
But Ukraine wants NATO. You go to Putin and say, Putin, if they're not part of NATO, what stops you from doing this again?
Right.
Nothing. You've done it now here, and you've shown them that you can kill them at will before even bringing out your big stuff. So if you bring out your big stuff, we're going to help them bring out some big stuff.
Right.
And it's not going to be good for you or them. It's not going to have anything bearing on us. You can't get anything over to us.
There needs to be a bilateral agreement between the two countries that if there's a violation of it, there's going to be a punishment, which is in the form of we're going to come right back in and
Putin, at the end of the day, you'd be like, hey, Putin, come on now. You know we're as tough, if not tougher than you. If we get all our allies and you get your allies, guess what, Poot? You ain't around and neither am I. I like my job and you like yours.
I bet he does President Bubba in the next 6 months. I bet you're right.
And Putin's a reasonable man. You actually turn it. You tell him that you're a reasonable.
Oh, okay.
You tell him that Putin, you're a reasonable, fair man. You've never done this during your entire presidency or dictatorship or leadership of Russia. This is your first invasion of any major country.
Why do all these old ass dudes? Why are they looking for some sort of legacy, man? Towards the end of their life, Mike Tyson's right. Legacy is just some made up thing.
Yep.
And so, I mean, I guess for however many 10s or 20 or however many years, Russia wants this territory back. It used to be theirs. This is the ongoing thing. So he wants to go out, and you guys don't need any more than this. This is all you're fighting for. You're not fighting for any more of it. You're not trying to get, Kyiv or anything like that. You lob a few missiles into Kyiv just to show them that you can do it.
But you never wanted it.
You never wanted it. And so let's give you what you want. But in doing so, you got to give us some assurances that you're not going to continue to move anytime you or the next guy gets a hair up their ass.
You know what the problem is, Bubba? When Trump tries to do that, they're going to say he's a Russian stooge. And we're going to hear Russia, Russia, Russia all over again. They're already trying it with Tulsi Gabbard, who we've all, I think, in this room agreed, as a Democrat turned independent turned Republican, she's no Russian stooge. And they're already starting to promote that crap to try to defeat her nomination because she has such an important potential role in this administration.
Do you know what I would do?
And he, Trump's such a sexist that he put her in this high-powered position, and that's what they're afraid of with her.
Do you know what I would do?
What's that?
I would get, if I'm Trump, I would call Bill Clinton and Barack Obama over to the White House.
Yep.
And I'd say, hey, fellas, this is a whole new Donald Trump. This is a whole new deal.
That's a great
You two are the two living double-term presidents, both very successful. And what just
you should have George Bush there too.
Yeah, bring them all in. Bring a presidential. Jimmy can't quite make it. He's a little under the weather.
He's in hospice at the moment.
Joe is Joe's the one that got us in this problem. So let's have a former presidential luncheon, lockdown, press can't be there, and you guys tell me what would you see? That's the problem. Every president's so arrogant they don't want to listen to the next guy who's done it, a two-term. And you say, Bill, what would you do?
Yeah, but Obama choked because Putin invaded Crimea during Obama's administration, and Obama did nothing.
I know.
He sat on his two thumbs.
Well, then
He
Obama would
double-thumbed
say,
himself.
I would do nothing. And maybe Bill, I tell you what I'd do. I think that optic for the American people would be great. Be like, man, Donald Trump's bringing in all the formal dudes just to get not that what they're going to say is what he's going to necessarily go with, but if you have three coherent former presidents, wasn't Bush a two-timer too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bring in the last successful presidents. Bush would be like, I'll tell you right now, I bombed the hell out of him.
Well, I think just as a sign of unity, it would be incredible if they would even accept an invitation to a luncheon with all of the live past presidents.
If they don't accept, then who looks bad? They do.
Right.
I mean, if Donald Trump's like, I'm going to tell you something, I'm going to bring in all the former presidents. I'm going to bring in Clinton. I'm going to bring in Bush. I'm going to bring in Barack. We got a lot. I got a lot of world issues. They're very worldly. They've done this job successfully before. You throw them over. Throw them a little bit of a bone. And I'd like, those are three very, very different thought processes, and see what realistically see what they say.
It would, he's the kind of guy that puts those types of competing ideas in a room. They all talk about how it's like the combat of ideas, and then he listens and does what he wants.
I'm so diverse that I can hang out with Kid Rock on Saturday and Bill Clinton on Monday. Just leave your wife at the house, though. Don't bring her. Don't like her. That's how you handle this. You don't think between those three dudes, they all have an opinion on how to do this.
For sure.
And just, maybe that would help, I think. Let me run in real late. Let me get up to speed. I got two people trying to call us. 813-90-BUBBA. I'll get to your calls next.
Want to listen to the show on demand and on the go? Enlist today at BubbaArmyHQ.com. Sign up and start listening. The Bubba the Love Sponge Show will be back after this.
Or getting a home loan.
That makes your new life a reality. And acting quickly so you don't miss out. This is the Home Team.
Those things that I looked at, Tunnel did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
If you want me to do anything more again another time, like whatever, I would. Anything.
We might need some more filler.
Yeah, that's fine.
The final.
I'm cool with it, but the thing is, it's really good. I mean, we can whisper something.
We need to drop it before the inauguration, though.
Yeah, I agree. Now come up. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yeah. Oh, really? That's the data. That's the data that you need.
That's exactly right, and it's.
I bought a Bo Nix yesterday, I believe.
Come over.
I believe.
You were like, did you get the 3 yet? I'm like, I haven't yet.
Him and Sean Payton.
All of them, dude. It's fucking mind.
The third one's gonna change probably the most.
It's when the empty seat at the end of the first episode.
Yeah.
With Raj. Yeah, I did. I was like, I get chills up my fucking spine.
Yeah.
So.
And Kevin did a good job too.
He did he did a great job.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. Now I know where you're going. Steven did a great job, but now I know where you're going. If you need to, I can help with Phil.
Oh yeah.
But it's compelling. One guy grew up in St. Pete, Bubba. Went away to the Marines in 1987, so he just kind of knew your name, but didn't really know anything. He couldn't stop looking at it.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
Just because the connection at the end, it's like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah, the weaponization of the U.S. government. Oh my God. The weaponization of the U.S. government.
It's unbelievable. That's why they don't want Matt Gaetz. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Double XL?
Wasn't Matt Gaetz about to get investigated again by the ethics committee, and then when he resigned, they couldn't do it anymore?
I heard something like that. Like it was that's one of the theories. That's what I heard.
So you're absolutely. So what it is, Seth, is he was investigated and no pros by the Justice Department, like Bub was saying, and then even after they do that, Congress does an ethics investigation, and so that ethics investigation was about to end.
Oh,
and that report was about to come out, and that's when he was tapped as this potential cabinet member, and that's when he resigned. And so the rules of Congress say that you can only release those reports as a congressman is a congressman. However, like Danny said, any investigation into the, investigating consent, the role of Senate, I think they probably would go into this anyway. They just don't use the report.
Yeah.
I guess it's a part of the investigation.
I'm just interested. I mean, I know things are made up, but he just looks like the kind of guy that would pay to hook up with a 17-year-old. I don't want to be racial.
They had some. They had some pretty.
Like the way he looks.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabeto studios.
Aquabeto.com/Bubba.
It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
813-90 Bubba. A couple people on the phone lines. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App as well. Fish on the J earlier today, 30. Thank you. Also, Lummy, we'll call it, 10:30, 10:35 for the after show.
All right.
All hands on deck on that. That'll be, and Seth, is that a podcast only? That's a podcast, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Hi, who's this?
All right.
Hello, it's Bubba, and you're on the air.
Hey, Bubba, this is John. How you doing, man?
Hi, John. What's up, bud?
Hey, I just wanted to throw 3 points out on this Ukrainian conversation. I'm digging it.
Love it.
We gotta look at history. Dan was talking about a bilateral agreement, and we'd make sure that nobody'd ever do this again. Well, we've made that agreement before. You can look that up.
It's like 1994.
So
You're absolutely right.
Go through that.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, Dan.
It's Jay.
The other point
You're right about that 100%.
Talking about giving up that 20%, that main eastern region over there is predominantly oil fields, and you give that up, you're giving up a big economic state for Ukraine.
I didn't really take that in consideration, but you're right. That's a huge, maybe within the territorial.
Those are all negotiating points. He's right about all of it.
Like maybe within the negotiation, you're like, okay. These are huge windfalls of oil fields. We split the problem. I mean, I don't know if you could get those two to play nice with regards to splitting the profits of said oil. I don't know if Putin would go for that.
Trump doesn't want Putin to have any oil.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, what he's talking about, you're making really good salient points, and that's just the point. There needs to be a negotiation. There's plenty of ammunition, so to speak, economic ammunition they have on both sides to engage in a meaningful negotiation and reach some sort of an agreement. I'm not trying to suggest I know what the right agreement is. I'm just saying it's time to go talk.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's time to have some open lines of communication than lobbing, missiles and drones back and forth. We're getting nowhere there.
And then now let's go into the deep heart of Russia with our Western-made munitions,
With Putin saying, if you do that, we're coming out loaded for bear.
That's so bad.
So, the one thing we haven't done, and tell me if you agree or not, sir, is that, we've pity-pattied back and forth, kind of half-assed this war, a fringe, war at best. We haven't brought out our big stuff. They haven't brought out their big stuff. But that's the last thing that we need is for each country to trying to show who's got the big stuff. And we need more, meaningful talk and negotiations, and both countries have to concede. And I don't know that we've had a binding agent, if you will, a person that is respected by. Listen, Putin's in control here with regards to the power structure of him versus Zelensky, and so Zelensky's only as powerful as his backing by us. So,
That's so true.
And I don't think that our leader has the negotiation and or sling and D, swagger, if you will, to scare or that Putin, necessarily appreciates or, I think Putin thinks that we're a pushover right now being led by a grandpa. And whereas I think Putin would have a little bit more respect for our country on a guy that's a little sharper and a little unhinged, if you will.
Well, what Trump's not tweeting is my button is bigger than yours and it works, because he's got a ginormous red button that works really, really well. So this is why these negotiations have to be handled so carefully, and this is why when he said that we're so close to the World War III, he was accurate. I'm curious to see what your third point is. So we keep interrupting him.
Go ahead, sir. Your third point.
I was going to say the third point is that land strip that goes down to Crimea, that creates a land bridge for Russia to get into the Black Sea, which then gives them access to more European markets with shipping. And, I think you guys hit the nail on the head when you said we definitely need somebody to bring all parties to the table that's respected and knows that there's not going to be any punches pulled.
Maybe part of some of this negotiation, if it goes a little Putin's way, is that we tell Putin we're putting in a huge military base in right on the southern right on the tip of where you're taking over. We're going to have a huge a U.S. military base. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. He wouldn't like that, but if he's going to get all of this stuff or some of this stuff that to me, it's like it's so strategically drawn up by him as to what he wants, because it all makes so much more sense down the road as to what he really wants. He wants a land bridge to the Black Sea. He wants the oil. So, but it's scary that he get all that. It's certainly not good for the world for him to get all that.
Definitely. And I think that's where your discussion on, bringing everybody to the table and then start working on a deal. I think there is a deal to be made. And I think right now, our current leadership is not going to be able to make that deal happen. However, President Trump, once he takes office, I definitely think that is a possibility.
Well, the other thing is, if Trump wants to really, really resonate with Americans, liberal and or conservative, is he comes in here quickly and gets this resolved so we don't have to worry about World War III, which isn't good for anybody. And I think that this will just absolutely validate, not as necessarily his legacy, but validate the difference between him and the people that could have won. The American public will really, this is what he could really better himself amongst people who don't like him by coming in and getting this done, because the people before him have had 2.5, 3 years to get this done, and they've not.
Definitely. And I wholeheartly agree with that, Bubba.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Your time, fellas.
Appreciate
I
you
gotta
too.
get off here.
Thank you. But I mean, Jay, even like, even Seth's mom, Elise, who hates Trump, like if Trump would come in and have a reasonable resolve to this, Elise may be hardcore Democrat, but she's also fair.
Right.
And she also, would be like, that's pretty cool.
Well, if you look at what
That's
he did
good.
in his first administration, Trump doesn't like war where people die. He said it when he was asked, why would you stop it? I don't like seeing people die. So as a baseline in the past, during Trump's first administration, he allows the military to engage in unfettered warfare to eliminate threats. That's what they did to ISIS. We were pity-pat with them for 6 years under Obama and Trump's administration by allowing the generals to not have to call D.C. before they did everything, get the job done. They did it in about 60 days, 90 days. And so then there was the end of that. And he was trying to end Afghanistan. And so I think his gut feeling is try to end wars.
Hello.
And I think if he does, people like Elise would be okay.
Hello.
Hey, Bubba.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, it's Cracker. Good morning to everybody. Thank you for brightening my Monday morning up as always.
Thank you, Cracker.
So look, one thing with the Ukraine and NATO deal that I have yet to hear anybody mention, the reason they're not part of NATO, they weren't welcome to NATO, the country is corrupt. That is why they're not in NATO.
Well,
he's right about that. He's not wrong about that either. That's what happened with the whole
Absolutely.
Hunter Biden thing.
Exactly. That's why they're not in NATO. They're corrupt. They can't be trusted.
Well, I think they were given an opportunity to be in NATO, and NATO said, listen, join now or you're done. And they elected not to join when they had an opportunity to join. And now that they, are getting their ass kicked by Russia, and the only way that they could even, have any type of good outcome would be to involve us and be part of NATO. Now they want to be part of NATO. So that's a negotiation tool as well for Zelensky. You're like, Zelensky, now you want to be part of NATO. We'll make that happen, but you have to, work with Putin on these land territories.
By the way, with a corruption perceptions index, the U.S. ranks 24 out of 180 countries as being the most corrupt.
And
of course, it's the Biden administration.
Sure.
No,
I think it's the last 40 years and both administrations.
Putin has said before that he does not want NATO on his border. So
again, I know what he says. But I also know what he wants.
But that's another reason why Ukraine isn't in NATO, not just because it's corrupt.
Appreciate it, my friend. Well, listen, Putin wants to be a bully, and he can be, and you can give him some of the stuff that he wants, but he just can't be all him. It's got to be give and take, and you need a good, strong negotiator to do that. A person that's not a strong negotiator, that he does not fear or respect, he's going to run all over him. Hello.
Hey, Bubba, I just had to let you know that the show's not on Facebook right now, and it's completely gone from Facebook. So the link that you just sent out, it says content unavailable. Just a heads up.
Let me see here.
Yeah, I told Red they're working on it.
To me, it shows we're on Facebook.
Yeah.
My feed shows live on Facebook.
There's like 9 more places to watch the show, right?
Right.
Exactly. Oh, I know. I was just bringing it up because Bubba just sent out the link through Facebook, and on his link on his page it says content not available. So
well, maybe that's just the link. But if you go to the Bubba the Love Sponge page, Facebook, I think it's working there. But maybe I just sent a corrupt link.
I'm telling you that I went there and there's no show there at all. It's not there at all. But
Well, hold
Whatever.
on. Hold on.
Just letting you know.
Appreciate you, Joe.
It looks like it's live.
Let me.
I
There's
see it on you.
There's my Facebook feed right there.
I see Jay.
I see it.
I see Jay. I see Seth. I see Bubba, and I see Lummy, and I see Larry Plummer and Bubba, and now I see Tyler.
Yep.
Oh, hold on, but it is down to one. One. Maybe
it's just you.
Maybe it's what?
It's just you on there.
Joe might be onto something because there's only
Thanks, Joe.
It says one person, which could be me. So, Joe,
one person watching?
Yeah, it's me. Internal. Joe, we'll look into it. Thanks.
If you liked that segment, then you'll definitely like the new redesigned BubbaArmyHQ.com. We'll be back to the Bubba the Love Sponge show after this.
Well, hopefully we didn't. Hard telling. Facebook, that's fucking Zuckerberg. He probably didn't like all this fucking conservative talk.
It's really not, I don't think, is it? It's just, I don't know why it's conservative to talk about ending the war. But maybe it is. That used to be liberal. It used to be neocon Republicans that wanted to, engage in war. It's crazy. What's up, the Tim England? How you doing, buddy? I know Carlos Clement's weird. What's up, Big Buck? How you doing, buddy? Paul versus Zelensky. I like to see Jake Paul versus Putin. What's up, Jay Kostika? Good morning. You guys all had a good weekend? Sicilian Redneck, what up, buddy? Who's that? What's up, Hoss83? How you doing, buddy? The waves were good the whole time I was there, Dan, and then it got super rainy. It's a late rainy season. Biddy got stuck for 3 days. What's up, Iggy? It was such a weak fight to watch. Mark Jones. I'd like to see him fight someone in his decade, like in their 20s.
He did fight one guy that was in his age group.
Was that the bare knuckle guy that he just fought? But he's not a real boxer.
No, Fury's brother.
Not the one he lost?
Yeah.
Okay. I heard a boxing analyst basically say he's average, which is which is good. You've been only fighting for 7-8 years. I mean, to be an average professional fighter in 7-8 years is incredible. Exactly. But you're still just average. What's up, Grouper Lips? What's up, Great White? All good here? I think you're right. One thing I'll say is amazing self-promoter, incredible. He gets kids to do just about anything. So I'm not hating on him. It's just kind of lackluster to me. What's up, Nick? What's up, little Wilders Afterbirth? Good morning, right back at you. For sure. Yeah, I think Thanksgiving is next Thursday. Listen in, fat. She, him. That's a funny name. Listen in, fat. His pronouns, listen. She, him. Yes. Oh, that's so nice.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabito studios, aquabito.com/Bubba. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge show.
What's the Monday night game for tonight?
Houston and Dallas.
Yeah. Horrible game.
Man, what if Dallas gets... I mean, does Mike McCarthy get ran out of town before the season's over if he continues to lose? No.
Jerry Jones doesn't like firing coaches in season.
I mean, they got a backup quarterback now. I mean, it's pretty much over. There's no reason to get rid of your coach.
That's just not his style either.
Is McCarthy gone after the end of the year?
Yeah.
It should be.
I mean...
I think his contract's up, too.
Oh,
That
you know
makes
what?
it
You're
easy.
right. You're right. That makes it real easy, does it not?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Pentagon fails the 7th audit in a row, unable to fully account for the $824 billion budget.
Have they ever passed one?
Nope. Well, I mean...
Well, this is... Yeah.
Like, not even
in the last
joking. I don't know if they've legitimately ever... I've never heard of them actually
Petty
having
and I were
audit
talking about
passed.
this. When's the last time we even passed a budget? I think it was in... I don't even know that we passed one in George Bush. I think we passed one in Clinton.
The last time, and I don't know if it just because we manipulated the numbers differently now, but I think it's for real. I think it's 100% a shoot. I think the last time we had a balanced budget as a country was under Bill Clinton.
I'm pretty sure it was the contract with America with him. I'm almost positive.
Right. Yep. So, think about this. We're like what now? 35 or 40 trillion in debt. Now, is that telling me, now when you say we have a balanced budget, is that saying under Clinton
2001
we were zero, meaning we were not in debt?
That's right.
Well, see, that's great.
In 1997, President Clinton announced his plan to balance the budget in his State of the Union address. In 1998 through 2002, the budget was balanced under President Clinton. The U.S. has only had a balanced budget twice in the past 50 years. The only one was in 1969 under President Lyndon Johnson.
That's great.
So can we all say we have to live with a budget? What the... Jesus.
Now, how did we let it get so far out of hand? I mean, how can Clinton, in 1997, 98, which was what, 24, 5, 20?
More. I was 28
years?
years old. I'm 54, so it's almost 30 years ago. It's 26 years ago?
26 years ago, and we still had, well, you know what? I think Clinton was also the last president that didn't have any wars going on. I think President Clinton was a warless president.
He shot some cruise missiles, but I can't remember any wars being started under his
man, I don't think people realize how good of a president he may have been.
Best in our lifetime, probably.
Only tainted by the fact he got a little oral in the office. I mean, God, any of us would take that now. Joe Biden got, or
his opinions would not even be permitted in the Democrat Party right now.
I mean, I don't know if. I think that how good of a president he was is like he's only kind of appreciated 20 some years removed when you see just how bad it is.
Did they boot RFK from the Democratic Party because they thought that he was going to be just as horny as Bill Clinton was?
They booted him because they thought that he'd beat Joe in the primary. If they had an open primary, their candidate would be RFK Jr. right now for the Democrats.
But
a good chance of it.
I mean, think about this. Think about how much America would go for this. If a president that has us in no wars and has a balanced, but we don't owe anybody anything.
That's the way to do it. So
but think about it. Like, would you not vote for that guy?
So yes, of course. So
Lummy,
what happened
would you
was,
not vote for that guy?
Sure would.
Seth, would you not vote for that guy?
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah.
So
and his only downfall is he got a little oral and left us a little bit of remnants on a dress.
So he got shellacked after his first election. He won the first election because Ross Perot came in and got 17% of the national electorate. He did not win with a majority of the country. He won his first presidency. He got in trouble with the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. When he came back in the second term, he had his rear end, his ass handed to him. So he had to make a deal with a little guy named Newt Gingrich. And so when they have split government, he actually made a deal. It was the balanced budget amendment, and they actually did it. And so it can be done. It takes bipartisanship. And so it wasn't just Clinton. It was a congressional House.
It was Clinton that was working. It was Clinton that had his constituents working with the Republicans all
bipartisanship,
all together to get a great result.
Right.
No wars. Man, how I'd sign up. I don't care if that person's a black, a white, a male, or a female,
or a Democrat or Republican,
or what, red or blue or green, or if they're like, listen, I promise you, after my 4 years, we will not be in any wars. And what's our current? Can you look up real fast?
36 trillion?
Yeah, trillion.
Oof. And that's just since 1991.
Wow.
When George W. Bush left, I believe it was 10. I believe when Clinton left, it was 20, and I believe when Trump left, it was like almost 30. And I believe it's much more than that.
Barack? You mean Barack?
That's what. Excuse me. Yes.
You said Clinton.
I sent you the clock.
Yeah, I meant Barack.
Yeah.
So it went from 10 to 20 to 30 to it's going to be 40.
Where did the wheels come off when Bush took over for Clinton?
First Iraq War? We started just spending and spending and spending and spending.
And borrowing and borrowing and borrowing. Look at this.
36 now.
Jesus. And look at all. Man, there's a lot to unpack here. But look at.
Holy man.
Yeah. Wow. So the U.S. national debt is $36 trillion. And then it goes debt per citizen. For every citizen, United States, we're $106,000 in debt.
Well, and if you look at the top left box, the bottom right part of it, it says $2,205,000,000. That is our annual budget deficit. We're that much spending a year in excess of what our budget is. Over $2.2 trillion we're spending more than we take in this year.
So it says U.S. federal tax revenue. I mean, listen, if you just look at these numbers, you can see they're not going to work out. Debt per citizen, $106,000, right?
That's unbelievable.
Revenue via taxes per citizen, $15,000. Doesn't that look to be about a about an $80,000 deficit?
Yep.
From what we're taking in compared to what we're spending? Wow, there's a lot of numbers here. Medicare, okay, hold on. Target budget items. Medicare, Medicaid, $1.9 trillion. Social Security, $1.4 trillion. Defense/war, $945 billion.
That's unbelievable.
Interest. Look at that interest just going up.
My Lord.
Isn't all of this pretty much all of it to China?
A lot of it.
A lot of it is
for
Japan.
Sure.
Dollar to crypto ratio, paper to gold ratio, paper to silver ratio, median income.
And anyone who's intellectually honest would say also that one of the big flaws of the first Trump administration is he didn't cut spending. And some people say COVID spending was the real culprit. I think that COVID plus he probably spent too much. And I hope that this Elon Musk
Vivek Ramaswamy Doge committee actually works, because clearly there's a lot of fat to cut, right, Bubba? I mean, what we talked about these days, they talk about cutting increases in budget. They don't ever talk about actually cutting budgets. And so Elon and Vivek are talking about actually cutting. So I hope that's one of the promises from this administration that I hope they actually fulfill, because we can't, as 50-something-year-olds, my kids can't sustain this debt.
No, I don't think anybody.
There's no way. Something has to. The trajectory has to change. There has to be a balanced budget amendment. It has to be something.
Has there been a president since Clinton that, obviously Clinton was zero, but has there been a president that took over like one and then got it reduced? So like if Trump's 4 years with this.
Not since Clinton. It's gone up every single time.
Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, and you look at it in 4 years, and it's 20 trillion instead of 36 trillion.
That would be amazing.
So it looks like we don't owe China the most. We owe Japan the most.
Good
at 1.1 trillion.
How much?
1.1 trillion.
Man, we're cool with them. They should knock some of that off.
Yeah. I think so too.
And China's only 749 billion.
So this is mostly Japan.
Yeah, the 1.1 trillion.
That makes me actually feel a little bit better, because they don't, they may not call it as quickly as China. And what are you going to do about it? When you're I guess there's different various business loans that they can call the loan, Jay, and if you can't pay it off, they take over what you've.
Yeah, I've seen it. Been there.
Yeah, me too. They called the loan on this building. They called it because I was in default, and they called it. And the agreement that I signed, that they're like they were going to take it over in 60 days. So thank God, we don't have China. They might be faster to call it. But at the end of the day, man, be like, call it, bitch. What are you going to do about it? We're like a bunch of white trash. You're not going to come take nothing.
We owe Canada the fifth most at $328 billion.
Hold on,
Canada? They ain't getting their money.
Come on, we owe Canada
$328 billion.
What? Well, who owes us?
They're gonna get that with
right,
a big
exactly.
roll of pennies.
We just give ours out, Bubba. That's the problem. We just give it to a bunch of countries that hate us.
Like we just call like Niger and stuff like that, and be like, here, this is free money.
Here, have $23 billion.
Don't worry about paying it back. We're the dumbasses that borrow money with paying back features. Yeah. Meanwhile, the money we give to the rest of the world is just free money.
We're borrowing it to give it away.
Yeah.
But it's like a medical bill. Like, just Canada's not just going to get their money. We're just going to pay other people.
We're just going to pay them $25 a month. Yeah. Like when you get that big hospital bill to Seth, you just pay them like $60 a month.
Yeah,
and
they get off your case. Yeah.
Right.
I was going to say, don't flap me up with those threats, Trudeau.
So, Lummy, where now? Can you find out like who owes us? How much is owed to us?
That's what I'm looking for right now.
The Pentagon has failed its seventh consecutive audit on Friday as the agency was unable to fully account for the massive $824 billion budget. Though officials were confident the Department of Defense has turned a corner in its understanding its budgetary challenges moving forward. The audits resulted in a disclaimer of opinion, which means auditors were provided with insufficient information to form an accurate opinion of the accounts. According to the DoD, 28 reporting entities have had standalone audits. 9 received an unmodified audit option. 1 received a qualified opinion, and 15 received disclaimers. 3 opinions remain pending. Is it not just the Pentagon can just go willy-nilly and not really have any checks or balances with regards to their.
That's why they don't want Pete Hegseth.
With regards to their budget.
Exactly.
They can just do what they want and be like, what are you gonna do about it? Right.
Think what we just learned about FEMA. I didn't know until Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helene that FEMA was utilizing money that we all thought was reserved for federal emergency management, that they were using for illegal immigrants to house them, transport them, feed them, give them EBT cards. And so I have sympathy for everybody who's a citizen, but I do not have sympathy for the government misdirecting money, hiding it, and giving it to other people. And so what do you think in that $826 billion do you think the dark money has gone to? I can't even imagine.
Well, I mean, like if you can't justify your budget and validate where things are going, then doesn't that just absolutely lead for corruption and dark money and dark operations and just, things that potentially might not be on the up and up? Whereas if you have to account for your money, then it's probably a lot less, shady on some of your operations, right? Mm-hmm. There's probably some agencies that we don't even know about that are heavily funded that they aren't necessarily transparent about, right?
Yeah.
Lemmy, were you able to find out who owes us?
Yeah, there's a lot of small countries, but it looks like number one is it's confusing. Japan owes us $1 billion.
Not to be confused.
We owe them $1.2 trillion,
and China owes us $870 billion. Here, this is just quick little.
Now, is that up and beyond what we owe them?
That's what's kind. And people still owe us from World War II.
Who? Germany and
Russia. Well, I guess the Soviet Union owe us money. I'm just saying this.
Trump, and you know what, Jay? Trump should use that with Putin.
Yep.
Be like, hey, you owe us,
Well, Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Oh, they're getting that one. They're getting by on that one, huh? Because I closed my corporation down and started something else. I played this earlier today, and I don't know. It says that my nephew is playing for the state title today. Instead of a coin toss, they dropped the game ball from a helicopter and let the captains fight for it. They should bring this to the NFL. My question is, what state would allow this? I mean, each state.
Florida.
Well, no, there's snow here. You can
no,
see
I'm saying
there's snow.
I think they would.
But, each state, Lummy, if you're going to have a state-sanctioned
That's
game,
a Dakota.
Is this Dakota?
I'm going to say it's a Dakota.
I mean, they'd probably have to get both teams to agree to it for this gimmick. And
it's a tradition.
This is why. Oh, is it a tradition?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a tradition.
Yeah, this is just a one-time deal.
Oh, okay. So, this is, they abandon what their normal kickoff procedures are for the state championship.
The coin toss. This is how they do the coin toss.
But it's only for the state championship, and it's only one time, and it's a tradition.
It looks like it's Utah.
Okay.
Think he'll drop a football? I bet.
Looks pretty cold.
I got to think that it may not be the safest thing in the world if that helicopter, helicopters at their most vulnerable when they're hovering. And, and when they go down like beer cans, literally, there's not a way to, if a plane loses an engine and it's got some altitude, it can glide for a very long time and potentially find a way to land. But, helicopters, if you don't have any forward motion and you're just hovering, you cannot land. Now, if a helicopter's got altitude and forward motion, they can do what they call an auto rotate, where they can actually land. They can turn the motor off and still land it. I've been in a helicopter that's done it. But when they're hovering, they have no forward motion, and he has no altitude at all. So to me, it seems a little risky. I like it.
So it looks like it's 8-man football in Utah that does it.
They drop the football, and the two guys scramble for it. All right, so you can see the football.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, that's a coin toss.
I just love the parents giggling. It's the best.
Oh my God, it's turkeys.
I mean, NFL, maybe for the Super Bowl. Right? I mean, not every game.
Well, you don't want your players, having a scrap before the game even starts at the coin toss.
That's why they stopped the USFL, because people were getting shoulder injuries, weren't they, Seth?
The XFL, that was
the scrum. Yeah, I think that there's something that they could drop from a helicopter during a game. I don't know what that is yet, but they need to look to what Utah's doing with high school football.
Yeah, the fans look packed.
They're going crazy.
Yeah,
Bubba, 8-man football. I mean, how exciting can that be?
I'm looking at the forecast for Warsaw. Low 34 on Friday night.
Oh, boys don't play well in 50 below, I saw.
Yeah, is it Warsaw?
They're on 4 this year, yeah.
Shut up.
If you want to deep dive into the Bubba the Love Sponge show from the past, go to BubbaArmyHQ.com. We'll be back after these words.
No, he hasn't covered it. I'm sending him a news story with it. Jay, what was in when I'm out in the engineering? Can you tell him I just sent him a link if you want to the story where the plane crashed at the NHRA race?
Okay.
This weekend.
You want me to go tell him?
No, if he comes in and I'm in the back room.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Real quick, just so he has it.
Yep. The one at Pomona? Or
Yeah.
Pomona?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here he is. Hi, Warren. Hi, Bubba. I sent you a story, the plane crashing at Pomona.
Cessna 172.
Yeah, I sent the story. They look like they have a video on it.
Okay,
When I
good.
do industrial age, I freely admit it, so I don't know what you're talking about. What's up, Thomas Gilson? Good morning.
Please no, sir.
Morning, sir. Camper Scott.
Sumo's fucking kicking it in the front. He's the man. I'm jealous of Sumo's lifestyle.
He's retired. He just does what he wants.
I know, just on the
That's
leather
nice.
couch, fucking shoes off, just chilling.
Good.
Probably trying to figure out if he's going to go to Oz or Penthouse Club today, you know what I'm saying?
Try Oz.
Choices.
I know, I mean, that's the choice of the day.
Which one has the better, I think,
Oz
what
is a little bit seedier.
Better,
I think.
which one has better food? Buffet. Get the free buffet at lunch.
Penthouse is supposed to be, I think, like known for their. I don't know. But
They are actually. Our buddy runs that, I think. Dave Seaburn.
How's Union doing?
I think good. What's up, HS Bubba fan? I think it's great. I had dinner at Boulan Saturday night with my wife and daughter. It was awesome. Food was great.
You don't get a Union report every month? You should.
I'm sure I do. I'm not a micromanager. I'm not fucking with Jeff. I've always had trouble eating at a strip club, HS Bubba fan. I don't know, it was odd. I had one friend that loved it when I was a kid. I was trying to meet me someplace. It's just weird for me. Can you put it down in a strip club, Bubba? No problem?
Yeah. I had a Caesar salad at Penthouse Club.
Anchovies?
No, I don't remember their anchovies, no. They were trying to get me to get salmon because I like salmon. I was like, I'm good, man. I
Not
can't.
there, of all places, right?
I was like, I'll take the salad. I trust you guys enough for that.
You don't want anything that smells fishy there.
Oh, God, no. I was only there like once or twice. I was working that night that Ronda Rousey got knocked out for the first time.
Wasn't that incredible?
Yeah, it was like the first fight I'd ever seen.
That was like that kick that Holly Holm did.
Yeah.
Broadcasting live from the Aquabito Studios. Aquabito.com/Bubba. It's the Bubba the Love Sponge Show.
I got a news update from this yesterday, Lummy. Sumo and I were watching the NHRA on FS1 on Fox Sports 1. We were watching it was from between 4 and 6.
Neil Mount Plaisir, $20. Go Pack Go.
And at that, thank you very much, Neil Mount Plaisir. Let me go ahead and give it to you.
Go Pack Go.
Pack play the Niners in Lambeau next week. Niners are coming along right now, aren't they?
Sure are. McCaffrey's back.
They got McCaffrey back. Does he make that big of a difference?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
So we're watching FS1, the NHRA. They go ahead and go through the Saturday qualifications, and then at like 6 o'clock they start the finals, which are live. And all of a sudden, Merch Crick's like, I just got an update on my phone that there was a small plane. Now this is in Panoma, which is by the way, this is the final NHRA event of the year. The champions will be crowned. This is the final event for the year, and it's always in Panoma in California, kind of like where drag racing was actually started in California. With sand rails. They would like on dry lake beds and things like that. So that's where, the NHRA was the birthplace of it. And the Panoma drag strip happens to be right by a lot of racetracks like Talladega, Daytona. Sebring. And a lot of them are right by either part of airports or right by the airport. And this drag strip happens, Panoma Raceway, drag strip, whatever, happens to be right by the airport. And actually, one of the reports yesterday were showing Tony Stewart flying in from Phoenix after having welcomed his new son Dominic into the world. He then left and came and did pretty well. I think he made it. I think he won either 1 or 2 rounds. I think he made it to the 3rd round,
nice.
Which is pretty good for him. And so anyway, Merch Crick says, hey, there was an airplane that crashed while landing at the Panoma, airport and got into a couple of the race haulers or merchandise trailers, and it actually landed like 5 doors down from the first aid place, from like where the NHRA first. But it got, I think it missed its runway or something like that, and it went into the pits.
Okay. Oof.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see here. I don't think there's any. I got to run.
Just crashed. Breaking news.
Yeah, look, hold on. The airport's over there. He comes in. He comes in right behind the bleachers.
An airplane just crashed. Breaking news out of Pomona, where a plane crashes into the parking lot of the National Hot Rod Finals. Stunned fans watching it all. Good evening. I'm Jory Rand.
I'm Michelle Fisher.
Look, this is like,
truck.
Where wow. Where me and the Merch Crook would be parked.
Pilot and 3 passengers are injured. There's also
hit a 5th wheel.
Could you imagine if you were just chilling in between races and that happened?
Can you imagine, Jay, if this is your 5th wheel and you're just hanging out Or this is, like
I'd
this.
be in that one. I wouldn't be in the fifth.
This probably looks like the driver's lot.
Look at the white truck's hood.
Quite a bit of damage to vehicles there, but no bystanders were hurt. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Stewart live in Pomona, where first responders really sprang into action tonight. Leanne?
They certainly did, Michelle and Jory. As you said, all 4 on board that plane suffering extensive injuries. As serious as that plane crash was, it certainly could have been much worse, and I'm going to show you why. Take a live look over my shoulder here. That plane going down just before the stands here at the track at the Pomona Speedway, just before that drag strip. If it had hit those stands full of participants and viewers, it certainly could have taken a deadly turn.
It looks like literally he was trying to fly.
It's like a paper airplane that went down.
A frightening scene at the Pomona Fairplex as a small plane crashed near the drag strip and stands at the National Hot Rod Association Finals, injuring all 4 on board.
When we looked, we just saw the plane with the smoke behind it, and the next time we looked up, it was already on the ground, so it had already crashed.
It happened just after 11 a.m. The NHRA finals had just begun. Everyone was in the stands when the plane came down in the pit area, taking out 5 cars and 3 RVs. Luckily, no one on the ground was hurt.
I didn't see any damage on trailers or anything, but that was just shocking.
This dude looks like Mushroom Mitch's younger hippie brother.
You see a plane just cut a whole truck right in half from the roof to the door.
The single-engine Piper was headed from Apple Valley to Brackett Field in Laverne, just on the other side of the drag strip.
There's 617 Echo Tango Brackett Tower. You on?
Airship 3 Alpha. I don't know if you knew this. There's a plane crash down in the RV parking down here at the track.
It seemed like he lost.
Oh man, look at this. This is a good.
Somewhere and said, "I got to turn back to this airport right here," and that's why he tried to make the sharp turn.
Yeah.
Maybe if it had happened prior, he probably could have got on the runway and did okay.
2 people on board were critically injured, 2 others suffering moderate injuries. LA County crews on hand for the races, rushing to help the injured.
When the units were on scene and saw that the plane crash was happening in real time,
nice mustaches on point.
They initiated a call, and then having been on scene, were readily available to render aid.
The NTSB and FAA now investigating that crash. At this point, they don't know what caused the plane to go down.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel.
Shut up, Mark Brown. The hell off my...
Go watch our YouTube and watch us watch Warsaw.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was a little bit of a cut.
No!
That's not a cut!
Seth is a fan of the Tigers.
I live and bleed the Warsaw Leopards, baby, and we are in the Final 4. Woo!
It's the Tigers, not the Leopards.
They're all stupid animals.
Jay, appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
We'll do a show with me, Seth, Lummy, and everybody else. It'll be a podcast only. Go to our YouTube channel. It's the easiest way to find all of our podcasting and download away, my friend. We'll start that about 35 after, Lum, okay?
Sounds good.
Thanks for letting me finish.
You've been listening to the Bubba the Love Sponge Show, starring
me, Bubba the Love Sponge,
co-host and show historian Lummit.
It's Seth, co-host and president of podcasting.
It's Brian Matroni, king of counter programming.
Rhett, the filthy ginger video editor.
Yeah, back here wiring up. It's Mini Macho.
The BRN agent, Thomas Buttoned Up Bean.
Co-host, Dr. Dan Diaco, Esquire of Council.
Co-host, J. Diaco, Esquire, the Spitting Cobra of Council.
Now, time for the legal disclaimer.
Exactly.
The Bubba the Love Sponge Show is intended solely for the enjoyment of our listening audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this show without express written consent of the Bubba Radio Network is prohibited.
We must dissuade him of this delusion.
Until next time, always remember.
I'll repeat hello.